Hello, everybody out there. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I hope that everyone's 2025 is starting out okay at the most part because I know we've had some natural disasters over the last couple of weeks, few weeks. I know right now we're still dealing with a snowstorm outside.
All right.
But it's no more snow, thankfully, but it is still like a lot of ice and the buses are still shut down. So,
All right. You
yeah.
want you want to know how I feel about 2025?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and.
Oh,
Already?
it just started.
Right.
Damn.
Yikes.
Sir, you guys 11 more months.
You
Good
got
luck.
how many more days of 2025?
Good luck.
Like that meme, like that meme. Like it's been 6 months, and I'm ready for this year to end. She feel like it's only January. What?
Child. A mess.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, but to anybody out there that's dealing with the wildfires or any natural disasters, our hearts go out to you. Please be safe. Do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. Evacuate, find shelter, whatever. Just be safe. Um, yeah, I'm hoping that these wildfires do end real soon for those in California.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start out today with. Might as well just go ahead and get out the way for the year for this first show of the year. Fuck around and find out. So, if you ever watched Black Clover, um, there is a character and her name is Noelle. And imagine growing up in a family of royals where you're the black sheep of the family. You're the one that nobody likes. The one that everybody sees as weak because you can't control your magic. But you have this one annoying sibling who just picks and picks and picks on you. Every time you show up, he curses your name. He is disgusted with you. And then you come to a point where you can get your revenge. And here's what I have today. This is Noelle versus Solid, her brother.
A single swift attack and it's all over.
Water magic, sea dragon,
So, the little neophyte thinks she can learn defensive spells, does she? I got you now, Noelle.
Solid's sure to be right on my heels.
Leave it to useless Noelle to try to win with one lousy defensive spell. To tell you the truth, sister, I almost feel bad for you. Any direction you go, I'll be hot on your tracks, which means you don't stand a chance of putting so much as a scratch on my Christy. Sorry. I can crush you pathetic weaklings without breaking a sweat.
I love
Still
how
a failure. Water creation magic. Slashing sea serpents.
has ever won a battle.
Okay, Solid.
Like, anytime they're like, you'll never defeat me.
What a
I'm better
block.
than you in every single way.
Just try to hit me, you
Right,
bitch.
right.
You could
That's
not
behind
understand.
power,
Once
Prince.
upon a time, I was terrified of what your magic power could do. But now that just feels silly. Sea dragons roar!
It looks strong, but there's no way one of her abilities could ever hurt me.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, you found out, didn't you?
That looks pretty hurt to me.
Right.
I'm not weak. Not anymore.
She better flip her pigtail.
She said,
Right.
She pulled a quick Galinda.
Right.
Good old-
Galinda. It's
Right.
like, I am not
That's
weak
good.
anymore.
That good old
Calm
Beyonce
down.
fan never hurts.
fall down. No,
Right.
but yeah, that was
Yeah.
okay.
He should have knew he lost when his character role was older bully brother.
Right,
Like,
they always
you
lose.
should have just already known that was your fate to just
Right.
completely
But
lose.
But he just
Yeah.
read the script and was like, character name, older bullying brother. Oh, I'm going
Right. That voice actor be like, oh, so I lose. Okay, gotcha.
right. Just like in a scary movie, the slut. Oh, I'm going down.
Or what is it? The one that betrays everybody. Oh, I'm dead. I don't think there's ever been a, now correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows. I don't think there's ever been a person who betrayed a team in any kind of horror movie that actually survived. I could be wrong though.
Betrayed a team in a horror movie?
Or betrayed somebody. And no, we're not counting the Saw movies because they play by a different set of rules. But yeah, betrayed anybody, like the good guys, like they were on their team, and then they'd be like, nope, sorry, switched up.
You mean the asshole character?
That could work too. I mean, assholes and betrayers aren't exactly
I mean, you betray you an asshole.
Yeah, I can think of one.
okay.
There's a movie called Circle. It's on Netflix, I believe. Still, it's been there
Okay.
for years, but it's called Circle, and the whole premise is like 50 people wake up in a room.
Oh
that's dark,
yeah.
and they're all standing on red circles,
Mm-hmm.
and people just start like they wake up at the same time. Beeps and noises go off around them, and then there's like a thing in the center that just randomly, or at least seems like it's randomly just killing people. And they basically, like, the whole premise of the movie is like they have to figure out what the hell's going on before all of them die. And so you start
Right.
seeing, like, the cool thing about it, it's actually a really good, it's a very good movie. But you start seeing how when people are forced to go to their like fight or flight response, how they resort to these basal instincts and start tribalizing to try and like get other people dead. And there is a lot of betrayal. And so I would say that the person who, one of the people, well, the person who ends up surviving, did some hefty betrayal and survived.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
But it is a really it's actually a really good movie, and it's weird because normally when you have a like an hour and a half something that like the movie sort of plays out more like a play, whereas like you're only in one place the entire movie. You don't go anywhere else, and all the spotlight is basically on the people in this circle that are like trying to figure out who done it, not who done it, but what the game is. It's very anime like Death Game, but live action and I guess American. I'm not sure if the movie's American or not. It might be like a Canadian film, but like it's really good.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving
Intros?
on. Huh?
Intros? We never really did intros. We just
Oh,
talked about
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
the
sorry.
weather
They
and
don't
then
know. They don't know who we are.
Right by now. I'm sorry, but
and
yeah,
then and then they fucked around and found out. It's just like, damn.
right. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. But yeah, so today I am joined by Madison with one Y and two E.
Not where you think.
but it's not what you think, Mr. James over here.
A mess.
And then we have Mr. Keeman here, who is it a hoodie? Are you cold?
I am.
Okay.
I get cold very easily.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Mr. Cedro, who has a mini figures behind him on a mantle fireplace.
His setup
Okay.
is nice.
Nice,
that's,
very nice.
That's all my partner's figures.
Right,
But,
but they're still.
but yes.
It's
The
giving
collection is great.
Oh wow, I like that. Is that a mug?
Well,
Oh no, it's not a mug. Okay.
No, it's just like a candle. You can put a tea candle underneath.
Oh,
Oh,
neat.
wow.
Light it, but it's a cool little skull.
Mm-hmm.
Got it as a gift last Christmas.
Last Christmas.
it just look like you about to be jumped by action figures.
Yes. Small soldiers.
Right, or Toy Story. But
Well, I mean, let's do small soldiers because Toy Story, they weren't like attacking humans. Not really.
okay.
I mean,
No,
there was like a little bit of that, but that was basically for Sid and
Right, he deserved it though. He deserved it.
Yes, children deserve violence.
I mean, listen. The
Trying to
way
say bad.
the way some of these children are these days, it's like fuck these kids. I'm just saying, it really is.
I'm with you when you're right.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But
They are the future, but they could also.
not make it there. Yeah, they can. Or it can be a hard road to the future.
I'll be
It really
like,
can.
these can't be the kids that are
These,
the future that
these
Whitney
can't be
was
the
talking
ones
about.
Whitney talked about, right? These can't be the ones.
Can't be.
She was talking about us, and we see what the
I
word
know. God help us.
She was talking about
She was
us.
lucky. She was
Right.
and then we went and raised some crazies. So it's just
Mhm.
like we the future, but
Oh.
we just made the future worse.
I mean,
Sorry, Whitney. Sorry.
I mean, kids.
Humans for
I mean,
millennia.
right.
This is
Mhm.
true. This is true.
Okay.
I mean, kids nowadays are surviving off hot Takis and hot Cheetos, so they'll be gone in a couple of.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Did
I
you
used
say?
to tear some hot Cheetos.
Did you say hot topic and hot
No.
Cheetos?
No,
Hot
hot
Takis.
Takis.
The chips, they call it Takis.
I
Listen,
know,
I
but
used
it's
to.
funny that you put. It's funny that you put hot on it. It threw me off because I'm like,
Because
oh,
our
those are
Takis already hot.
They're all
No,
hot.
they got different
Except,
type of Takis.
well, they
Oh.
do have some ones that aren't fuego.
Okay.
Like they
I
do
don't
have
eat
some ones
those.
that aren't spicy. But nobody really eats those like that.
Nope.
So
Sure don't.
like the whole point of Takis is like I need it to be so spicy that I can't eat a full bag, and the bag's not even like a big one. Like, you eat 3 or 4 and you're good for the day.
It's like
Try to eat that whole bag and a toilet will be destroyed.
Right.
And probably red. I ain't gonna lie.
I need something to be coming in and out.
no.
Child, I used to tear up some hot Cheetos. Okay.
But I love hot Cheetos too, but I don't eat it like how they eat it.
Yeah, but my favorite
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But my favorite Takis were the chili lime ones. Those were my favorite right there. Yeah.
I'll just do the regular, whatever the regular purple bag is.
Same. I think is that Fuego?
Yeah, it's
That's
Fuego.
I mean, whichever. Yeah, it's actually spicy enough on its own. But I mean, like,
Yeah, it
the original one is good. The cool blue one is I don't like it.
I don't
and also,
want it.
it's also too blue. Like I don't.
Doing
want
that
I
fluorescent.
don't need
Go
that
in the
much
dark
dye.
blue.
I don't
need that
want
much
it.
dye in my body.
Right. I don't want it. I was like, why are
That's
we
not-
eating-
That's not a Taki, that's a glow stick. I mean the same chemicals, we don't.
Child, a mess. No, but
Right.
I'm good on the blue ones. Just give me the regular Fuego or some hot Cheetos or some hot fries. I love
Mhm.
Chester.
Yeah, I love good hot fry now. Or the sweet heat Dorito.
Okay. All
Why are
right.
we having a
moving
segment
on.
about chips?
Right. I mean,
Hey,
'Cause I can
salty
go
snacks are important.
right.
I can go all day. I
Me
got plenty.
too.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to the big back segment.
The big back segment. Big backs roll out. Yes, big backs roll out.
You love a
Well, I
good
guess-
snack, okay?
Well, I guess while we're here, why not ask the question to the panel? So, potato chip or corn chip? Like, what is your preferred chip?
Potato.
Potato.
Oh my gosh, I'm definitely a tortilla chip guy. But
I like tortillas, but if we're going based off of like when I think of corn
no,
chips,
I mean like a chip that is made from potatoes. So it could also be Pringles because Pringles aren't chips; they're like mashed potato formed into crisps, but they're made from potatoes. So like a potato chip or a corn chip. So like a Frito tortilla.
and that's immediately what I thought about was Frito. I do not like Fritos, so that's why I said.
I mean, I like the
potato.
chili Frito.
If I eat
Chili
Fritos,
cheese.
it's got to be like in something, but just like a chili, like you said, chili Fritos. But if it's just like by itself, I'll be like, get that out of my face.
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely go with a corn tortilla chip. Like, I will destroy Dorito. I like potato chips,
Yeah.
but for me, I need that extra crunch. So
You
when I
right.
eat potato chips, I like kettle cooked potato chips.
I do too.
Oh,
I prefer those.
Or
I prefer
ridged or
those.
something that has like more crunch than just the regular.
Right.
Like Lay's to me are too thin and wispy.
Mhm.
Like they're not crisp. They're not crunchy enough.
I cannot get into the kettle chips. I just cannot. Everybody around me loves
It's
kettle
certain
chips,
ones.
and it's
There's
just
certain ones I can eat.
They're not all made the same.
I can't
Right.
do it. I be like, why is it? Why does it do that when I chew? I don't.
I
What?
mean, why is it crunchy?
When you
It's
chew.
I mean,
it's.
the title does tell you it's kettle cooked.
I mean, I know that. Oh, I don't buy them. Let's be clear. They will never get my money. But I've tried them, and I'm like, okay. But in my mind, I'll be like, why does this feel like I'm chewing on like stale chips almost? But again, it's just a texture thing. I
Like I
guess.
said, different brands. All depends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound real country, but anybody know the chip called Munchos?
Yes, I know those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I can tell those are any day of the week.
You mean that
But
like
they're not. But that technically
like-
they're
it's
potato
like a-
crisps
it's like a potato
instead
crisp,
of a
but
chip.
Mhm.
they're also like they're also salty as hell, but in a good
Yes.
They
in like
are.
Yes,
in
God,
the way
yes.
that you kind of want though.
Like the way you want a Lay's chip to be, like
Now I think about
just
it.
enough salt.
I gotta think about it. I might have to change my answer because when you said Doritos, that's gonna overshadow everything for me. Because
All right, Doritos.
Doritos,
Yes,
Doritos,
Doritos.
got,
Yes.
they got so many flavors that I love.
Especially
That
that blue,
salsa
that
verde,
cool ranch, that blue cool ranch. Ooh.
Yeah, Cool Ranch or
Yes.
salsa
the purple
verde
bag.
one.
Or the spicy chili, the sweet
Yeah, the sweet heat.
That's
the
the
sweet
purple
heat. Yes.
bag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The salsa verde version, the flaming hot ones are fire to me too. The Cool Ranch hot ones are also good. Mm.
I'm surprised nobody said Cheetos. Nobody
Well,
like Cheetos.
Cheetos
I mean,
are
the same
I,
hot.
I don't
Cheetos are
consider them to be
Cheetos.
a chip just because like a chip is not. I don't know. I just feel like a chip.
Oh, so we just stick to the potato and corn chip variety.
They're like the
Yeah, I mean
fluffy
for
family.
this question, but I mean like
Mhm. Got
I love a good Cheeto. Like
Mhm.
I love a good Cheeto puff. Mm.
What
no,
about
if we're doing puffs, we got to do Utz cheese
Okay.
curls.
Okay.
I do feel you on that. I do feel
Or
you
the
on
cheese
that.
balls, like to me, their
Mm.
texture and crunch is like just a little crispier than.
Okay, we gotta move on. I'm getting
Yeah,
hungry.
yeah. Okay, okay. All right, all
I'm gonna
right.
eat one time a day, y'all. Let's stop.
All right. I'm sorry.
Whew.
Oh, wait, but who fought that?
It's mine because I was preparing for where I'm at right now. After I get off of here, I'm gonna go.
You gonna tell some food up? He go. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay.
Just turn,
See
turn
T-Man
the
at
camera off,
7-Eleven with a
turn the
whole
camera
arm of
off for
chips.
like a minute, pop back up with like a bowl.
They're like, hey y'all, what was y'all talking about?
Food. like what's this about? You were gonna come back up with a breath mint and everything. But yeah, let's move on. So we're gonna look at the Spider-Man friendly neighborhood. I wish they would I wish it would have stayed freshman year, but I kind of like the name better. But we're gonna look at your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man trailer. Here we go.
Peter, you're gonna be late.
Sorry, man, I'm up. I'm okay.
Hey,
Oh,
Petey's always been a bit clumsy.
you know me, clumsy, Petey, Parker. Help! Mr. Campbell, I remembered I left something in the bathroom. Deuces. Parker out.
Superpower size kid, know you want a neighbor like me. Look out.
Somebody help me! He's running, grab him! Gotcha!
I thought it was dead meat. Check out our next victim in his dumbass costume.
Is my suit really that bad? Ouch.
Oh!
Watch out for that ladder!
Just consider it a good deed from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's me, by the way. I'm Spider-Man.
There we go, there we go, there we go again. Swinging through the city so fast you could barely notice him.
I truly believe that I have these powers to help people, to protect them.
Need my city, you need me. Taking off the mask, I know what you see. Know you want a neighbor like me. Just a young man cleaning up the streets. Ain't nothing changed, no, this is the real me.
So, you're Spider-Man. With my help, you'll achieve greatness.
Oh man, this suit's incredible! If you ever need another butt kicking, just look for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Know you want a neighbor like me.
And no, you may not be excused from said test. Ah, nice of you to join us, Mr. Parker. See me after class.
Wait, did anybody ever have one of those teachers that was like that? It's nice for you to join us. Like,
No,
yeah, I
I'm
know
always
I'm
on
late.
No, because I actually got to class on time.
Oh,
Me too.
Right.
My parents was
So-
not playing them games.
No, they didn't have an opportunity to be sarcastic like that because I was
All
already
right.
there, and I definitely didn't sit in the back.
I will
And
say.
it's not even the fact that I'm also an overachiever. It was the fact that like you can't really like sitting in the back is so much more distracting than it seems like. In the sense that like when you are in the back, kids in the back are doing so many other things. Even if you wanted to focus on the class or the lesson, like sometimes it's hard to, or at least it was the times that I had to because like seats felt filled up in certain courses and stuff. But like that's what I would sit in the front because I could hear better. Like anything that's going on in the back, you know, I don't want to say people are passing notes because it wasn't really that cliche, even though that did happen occasionally. But like kids are like on their phones, they're like playing games underneath, whatever, they're drawing, or they're just like randomly like tapping the hell out of their desk for no reason. Like, so it would always distract me. So I sat in the front came on time.
Right.
Did you have that a lot, Devon? Sounds like you
not me, but from other teachers.
not
Not
you.
for me.
Okay.
No, I was
Yeah.
not late.
From other experiences. Yeah.
I mean, I've been late a few times, but it was a good reason. But my teacher was never,
Pregnancy.
oh, nice of you to join us. You're finally here, kind of. Just they'd be like, just come and take a seat. No.
They probably just didn't like you as a person.
I did have one teacher that did not like anybody black. I did have one of those teachers, but that's another story.
Because sometimes teachers just don't like the person.
No,
So
they
no matter
don't.
what they
Yeah,
did,
that's true.
just going in there.
Yeah.
I
They had some of
I had
that.
I had a chemistry teacher in high school that did that to me, where it's like he would try to find reasons to take off points on my tests and papers and stuff. Like one time he circled, like one of the answers for one of the problems was krypton, the gas, on the element periodic table. So the answer was krypton. He circled the tail of my Y, my lowercase y. He circled it, put a question mark, and took off a point. So I got a 99 on that test.
How? What?
And I'm like, but the answer's right. You don't like the way I drew a Y? It wasn't even like it looked like a different letter. It was definitely a Y. It's just the tail had like a little extra curl on it. And he took off a point.
Oh wow.
Like,
That was petty.
Oh, I mean,
that was petty.
We got him together at, in front of the district and stuff later. But
I know that's right.
he did it for he did it for months, and so I had proof that he was like constantly trying to take off points from me because he hated the fact that a black kid was excelling.
Right? Was he white?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course he was.
Of course he was.
We love a good receipt.
I mean, anyone can be racist.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, he was absolutely Caucasian.
Okay.
We love a good receipt, though. I love that you kept
right
tabs on it because
Mm-hmm.
now was right there in front of your face.
Yeah.
Calvin is saying, I swear,
Yeah,
the internet was in an uproar because they changed the color of Norman, and they even thought that they changed his son into a girl. It was cool that you tried to sync up with me.
But yeah, I mean,
the
internet was like, why? Of course, they were like, why are we race swapping Norman and Harry? And I didn't hear about the part that they thought Norman was now Normana, a girl. I don't know. I didn't hear that part. I heard
That's Romana.
the race. The race. I mean, I don't know.
Normana.
I mean,
Normani?
not here. Not here. No, my Harry turned into Harriet. There we go, because his name is Harry. But I didn't even know that he did a gender swap too. I know they did a color swap, but I didn't know they also thought they did a gender swap too. I'm like, how?
Personally, I just don't really like it. I don't see why anyone cares that much. Like, none of the people, I promise you, none of the people that have any outrage towards it think that like the Green Goblin is their favorite character of all time, or like Norman is in such a pristine air that you can't fuck with like origin or what he is. Like, that's absolutely a character you can mess with that on. Because I didn't hear that much outrage when they made Doc Ock Octavia and it was Catherine Hahn in Into the Spider-Verse. People were like, "Oh, that's a cool variant." I didn't hear anyone going like, "Why is he a woman? They're trying to be woke." Now, to be fair, they were already in arms that we had a black Spider-Man, so like they were a little distracted. But
of course,
there was a lot of things that were kind of different and swapped in that series so far that people really haven't said much about. And so it's funny that it's always very targeted and very specific to characters no one really cares enough about for it to matter. Like, it's Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn could be Indian, he could be Asian, he could be Latin, he could be black, he could be white, he could be an alien from another planet masquerading as a human. Like, it doesn't matter. He could be blue. It's Norman Osborn. The character is what matters.
Right.
And I feel like as long as the character is served well, then like, why does it really matter what they look like, especially when they are Caucasian in an era and made from an era where most of the characters were Caucasian, so there wasn't enough representation. Like, why not? I just don't see the problem.
Right.
I mean, I guess they also had some issues with Zendaya being MJ, but like,
yeah,
that wasn't really that loud either, because they rode the absolute hell out of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. No lube. So
no lube. Is
right, exactly.
As far, I mean, and the crazy thing is, it's like, I know Tom probably has another film that they're gonna have him do, but it's also kind of seeming as if he's ready to be done with acting in general.
At least for a while, because especially when he's now engaged and they have a wedding to plan, which I'm sure, and everything. And congrats to them. Congrats to both Zendaya and Tom Holland on their engagement. And they're probably going to take a break from acting, to get ready for a wedding. And then after they're married, they're going to probably take some time off.
All depends what that Marvel contract says and how many movies.
That's true too. Yeah. But Tom Holland
they are doing Spider-Man 4, so
yeah, they are.
So like, that's happening, and it's going to happen within the next 2 years.
Yeah,
or at least we'll get enough announcements and probably a trailer in the next 2 years. So like, they can plan whatever they want, but you know what it is. First of all, it's like, one, what it needs to be planned around. They already have like contractually signed on for those things, so that's going to happen. Two, they both have enough money that they don't really have to plan shit.
Hey, I was just about to say that, but I was
they can continue living their lives and acting their roles and have their assistants and their people, which they probably already do, plan all of the stuff. Like, oh, you need to show up here to try to get fitted for a bridal gown, or you have a meeting with Lagerfeld or something like that to figure out a design for your tux or whatever. Like, they have people that are taking their itinerary.
They're not like us.
I'm not really like, they're not really that, like, even if they're busy, they're not necessarily so swamped because they have to figure it all out themselves.
They're not like us.
Right.
They're not like us.
They not.
And plus, Tom started so early. By the time he get done with his contract, he's like, "Look, I got enough money. I can retire right now and
because he
be on my merry way. I don't have to act again."
Because he said he doesn't want to be 30 and still playing Spider-Man. Your
girl.
That tells me that he's trying to either pass the
Yeah, the
mantle on
contract.
to you're right, and also pass the mantle on to whoever's going to be Miles. If that's the case,
Yeah, I'm cool with Peter dying. That's fine.
not dying.
I
Always
mean,
been
that's what
cool
happened in
with it.
Miles's original origin. I don't know if
Exactly.
they've changed it in like some of the other reiterations of Miles stories, but like that's
Mhm.
Miles's
Right.
origin. So like I'm fine with
Mhm.
Peter dying.
He was looking at the other Spider-Man trilogy. He was like, "Whoo, when I get to that third movie, that's gonna be it.
Right.
Oh, we gonna be a fourth."
I'm trying to tell y'all that man is ready to be done. Like
Mhm. He is.
I feel like the way, like just the way he is about, because I mean it's clear that he is madly in love with Zendaya.
Yeah, he
I feel
is.
I
like
mean, rightfully so.
I feel like whenever they get married, that man gonna be so engulfed in just being around
Mm.
her. He ain't gonna want to do nothing.
Yeah,
Well,
he gonna be the best stay-at-home dad. Cause Zendaya gonna
mhm.
still be doing a thing, but he said he pretty much didn't want to have a child and sit down somewhere. He said he don't want to be famous,
Mm-mm.
so
Well,
he didn't want
maybe.
to have a child, sit down somewhere, and be stay-at-home dad. So
Mm.
So yeah. I do like the suit in this trailer. I love how they made it, instead of the black and white, it's like a blue and white and like a red belt
Yeah,
situation. It's
but
kind of cool.
but I saw it reminded me of his Frontier suit when he joined the Fantastic Four. It reminded me of that suit. Like I think they took the idea from that and just made it some alterations.
You know, they
What's the
always gonna use the same template and just change
hmm
one thing.
Yeah, Calvin? I might be wrong about a gender swap, but at first glance with the hair and the earrings, he does look a girl. Oh, and they're engaged now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the animation style as well. It does give you a
It is
comic
nice.
book feel, which I'm digging. I do like that it takes him. Hold on, Cedro. I see your hand. It takes
the
his
mythology.
what am I trying to say? The beginning years of him, and they've actually made it into a quirky thing. But not that he's not quirky anyway when he first started out, or as he continues, but it gives him more cuteness and a little bit more innocence to him being quirky in his beginning years as Spider-Man. But what were you gonna say, Cedro?
I was gonna say I actually don't like the animation style. I'm going to watch the show
Mm-hmm.
because I think like I'm like why wouldn't I? At this point, I'm already too invested and I'm no quitter. So, um, it's like I'm like 37. I'm like 36 movies and what 10 shows in. Like I don't really know if I can quit this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hi, I'm Corey and welcome to like Comic-Holics Anonymous.
Damn.
I say that I don't like it right now just because it feels like that 3D animated style where for whatever reason the action always feels a little sluggish compared to what it might or it should be because of the fact that it's sort of 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, I like the approach of doing a different animation style for some of their animation because I do think that that's important. So like
Mm-hmm.
what they did for What If, I don't think they should have done here or what they're going to do for the Eyes of Wakanda show that's coming. I like that difference and I like the contrasting animation styles. So they'll give them points for trying something like this for this show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't personally like this style. It's one of the reasons why I couldn't even get too much into the Ajin show on Netflix, which was actually pretty good. Um, because it had this like cell shading,
Mm-hmm.
almost two-dimensional, three-dimensional representation, but the characters are moving in a three-dimensional. They're designed in a three-dimensional space. So like it's not awful. I don't think it's bad. It's just it's not my cup of tea.
Mm.
I'll still watch it though because I mean I didn't like the original X-Men. 90s X-Men wasn't my cup of tea animation style either, and neither is X-Men 97, but I still watched, X-Men 97 and enjoyed a lot, like enjoyed it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting that against it. But I will say like, I don't know. Cause sometimes with the 3D stuff, the problem that I have is that the world feels emptier because it takes too much effort, energy, space, storage space, memory, and rendering time to add enough people into a world to make it feel lived in. So like when we watched that trailer, every time he was outside in a place where there was public people, and this is supposed to be New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
there were only ever like 6 people around. And so to me, it just feels like I'm watching, like, it sometimes in these 3D things, because they don't fill out the space or the world around them because of money, budgetary time constraints. Sometimes you can get the feel of like, remember the show Reboot?
Yeah.
And it's like I remember liking the show a lot when I was a young kid. Trying to watch it now is one of the toughest things imaginable. But one of the reasons why is because like in those early things, even Beast Wars, it's like in those early 3D things, the world was never really filled with anything. It was just like the characters that they're focused on and maybe like one other animal or like person in the background. And this trailer for Spider-Man felt like that. Like he was fighting the dude in the street at night in New York. And you're telling me there was only like 2 people on one side of the street and like 1 person on the other side of the street. He wasn't in an alley. He wasn't in some like small town that only has like 500 people. He's in New York City. And so my thing is like, I understand it's a cartoon and I'm going to try and like keep that as much as possible. But sometimes like the drag of these 3-dimensional representations of animation is that because of certain constraints, the world can feel less real, like filled in and real. And so that's the only like concern I have. But I do like I like what I'm seeing so far. I like the voices for the characters. I like the way that it's trying to be, like you said, a comic book, but also sort of like young adult, aimed towards while hopefully giving us adults, us old adults or middle adults, whatever you want to call it, something that's entertaining enough for us to enjoy as well. I know it's a cartoon. I know the way that it's presented looks a little juvenile, but I hope that that's not the only aim for the marketing for it. I think Calvin also said something about this show isn't even supposed to be canon to the MCU.
It's not.
Okay, so it's like an Elseworlds thing.
Yeah.
Well, join the Batman.
Right.
Or Batgirl, who's really in Elseworlds. If I could just have one portal that would take me to the universe where the Batgirl movie was released, just so that I could purchase it on like DVD and bring it back, so I could know what it looked like.
And do an Ocean
and be like
Ocean's 11 mission to the vault.
Right.
It's still a copy of the movie.
I just feel like if Zack Snyder can get 2 additional cuts of different movies he's made, why can't we get the Batgirl cut?
Oh yeah, why won't it ever be released? What's the problem?
Right. You know, I'll even pay double what I would pay for like a movie ticket. Now, I also want a copy. Like, I don't want to just buy a ticket to be able to watch it once, but like, you know, I'd even pay for it because it's one of those things. It's like it's like a cult thing amongst nerds now that we know that a Batgirl movie existed and we'll never see it. Only like 100 people in the world have ever seen it.
Yes, it will never see the light of day.
Well, you never know. There's maybe one of these hackers get into the mainframe and
you never know.
I mean, because they be leaking a bunch of stuff nowadays, like that probably shouldn't be seen by us. So you know, who knows?
I mean, it might already be somewhere. You know, maybe
the
dark web or you know.
The dark web, the place many of us don't go.
Is it because it's dark?
Of course. We don't do the dark shit.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right. No, you're right. I don't got time for the bullshit.
Internet racism. So you like the light skin internet? That's what you're saying. The light skin web.
Right. The picky white face internet. That's what I want.
We also got a comment from Calvin. He says, "Ooh, I want to see that movie too. Like, was it really that bad that they had to cancel before it released?
It cannot be bad. It cannot be worse than Madam Web. Cannot.
It cannot.
I can guarantee that.
But
guaranteed.
Every time I hear that, I want to cringe. Like, ooh.
I'm about to say not Carnage. What's the movie that just came out?
Craven.
Huh?
Craven.
Ooh.
It can't be worse than them two, honey.
No, it can't. Or look,
Morbius.
Or Morbius.
Well, Morbius actually gets a pass now that we've gotten more Sony movies that have come out. Because Morbius is actually looking like maybe the second, third best.
Okay.
Because so none of the we're not counting any of the Spider-Man movies.
Right. Okay.
If we're ranking all of the Sony movies
Venom.
that have Marvel characters, Venom is number one.
One.
And Morbius and Let There Be Carnage is basically fighting for the second spot.
Yeah, number two.
And then everything else is underneath. Madam Web is absolutely last.
Right.
Underwater.
Absolutely the last, because
In Atlantis.
it's still voted the worst Marvel movie ever made.
Like Craven was tolerable up until Rhino showed up, and then it just
That
became
horrible
stupid.
CGI.
It just became
stupid.
Just really stupid, and not until he showed up at the end. I mean, once that character showed up in the movie, the movie just went
record skip
so,
record scratch.
So I guarantee that Batgirl is at least as good as Venom. At least.
Right. It can't be worse than Madam Web or Carnage. It can't.
My mom was randomly pregnant, but she was a scientist and was randomly in South America studying spiders. Why are you there? You know that you're 5 seconds from delivering a child, and you're decided to be in the Amazon, the literal most dangerous place for a human to just exist.
Oh, you know what? We can't have Spider-Man, so we're just gonna have this. We're gonna have people dressed up in nets coming down from trees.
And then you had you became a Jean Grey version of you became a Jean Grey spider version of Spider Person. That's what you became. You can see the future. That's what you became out of that.
So the funniest part to me was every time we flashed to the part in the movie where it was I don't even remember the name of the villain guy, but when he was having the vision of the three spider women effing him up.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they went to that, I was like, this is exactly the same cinematography and budget of a CW show, and I don't understand. Even the costumes, I was like, why is this not just a CW show?
Right. And you really didn't kill the villain.
You couldn't pay me to. I was not paying for that movie. I knew it was gonna be shit from the beginning.
Oh no! I didn't pay either.
I did. I did consider watching it on Netflix just as background noise, just to see. But I'm like, after the clips I've seen, I'm good. I don't need to see the whole thing. The clips.
That's when I saw it. Because it was also one of those things when a movie doesn't do well or isn't good, they'll be like, here's the first 9-10 minutes of the movie for free on our YouTube channel. And
right.
when a movie gets dropped like that, that movie's not going to be good. Craven had that done. Madam Web had that done.
Right.
Wait, there was a movie that had that done, and it actually was good. When I went to go see the rest of it, I was like, "Oh, this was actually good." I forgot what movie that was though.
No, you know the movie.
Claim denied.
Right.
Not claim denied.
You don't even know. Can't even name the movie. Claim denied.
Trying.
It must not be that great because you can't remember it.
I know. Look, I got so many things in my head. Leave me alone. But
oh yes, Madam Web was bad is bad, but it's hilarious. It's actually hilariously bad. It's one of those things where when you watch a campy horror movie and it's supposed to be bad, but that's actually the point of it, so it ends up just being a comedy more than what it's actually supposed to be. That's what Madam Web was. It was the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just laughing because of the way the dialogue comes out, the way things are delivered, the cuts. It feels like the movie was supposed to be something very different, and somebody jumped into the editing booth and just was like, "Oh, we can't use that."
The lip sync.
No, and then they just cut and paste a few things together and just said, "This is what we got."
Now, I will say this, and I will say this that that movie bombing because of all the rewrites and and things that they did to change the script. I'm gonna say that. Normally I don't say things are karma, but I'm gonna say this is karma for tricking what's her name?
The lead actress.
the main actress,
Dakota Johnson.
yeah, Dakota Johnson, for telling her, "Oh yes, it's gonna be an MCU movie. It's gonna be a great MC. It's gonna be about MCU," and it was not. I'm gonna say that was karma. That was her karma.
Girl, she got on that Instagram. She said,
Right,
"Y'all
yeah,
tricked me."
y'all tricked me. Okay, and then she said, I refuse to watch this movie. I would never watch this movie with me in it. I like to say it was a movie that I did. But I would never watch it, and I would never give. And she said, don't put it on my resume of movies that I did because I don't want it on there. Don't put it as my accreditation.
Not my my IMDb.
I'm sure. You know what? I'm
But
sure gonna
sorry,
check since I'm on here.
nothing
It's
gets
on my
deleted.
IMDb.
I was gonna say, bro, you can't deny that.
The
I mean,
internet,
she
the
can't,
internet
but
never forgets.
she
The
doesn't
light-skinned
want it.
internet never forgets.
Right,
We will never
that's
forget.
right. Even though
We
she
will
said
never forget.
she don't want it as part of her. She knows she can't fight it, but she said I don't want it part of my accreditation.
They're gonna look at their resume. They're gonna be like,
what you want.
they're gonna look at their resume. They're gonna be like, oh, you was in that.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna look at it and be like, "Oh, this. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. Oh, our people will call your people.
Right, because that was a choice.
We'll be in touch.
that was a choice.
That was a choice. Sorry, girl.
Now, I will give actors a little bit of leeway because it is a very real thing that you like sign on to something, they tell you and blow your head up about something, and then you get on set and do all of these scenes, and then when they get into the editing room, the final product is like not the movie that you signed up for.
Nope.
So I can understand certain elements of that, but girl, you were the reason why it wasn't good too. Like it wasn't just like you're out here like I'm trying to think of somebody to throw an example. Like it's not like you're out here like LeBron James and you're just too good for everybody, dishing and diamond passes to your teammates, and your teammates are just bricking shots. Like you also sucked and are the titular character, and that's a reason why the movie was bad. Like it wasn't just they tricked you and they edited the movie weird. Like every scene that you were in was delivered like a person that didn't know how to act.
Basically,
it's weird because she's been in other things where she's shown that she actually has the ability to act.
Now,
because I'm not just saying that Dakota is a bad actor. I'm just saying like this movie was trash, and she was a main reason why. So for her to act like, well, y'all tricked me, don't put this on my resume, like charge it to my heart and not my mind or whatever, or my head and not my heart. It's like, no, all of that was bad.
We charging.
But I will say a little bit. I will be like in her defense a little bit. Once you find out that that you were told a movie is going to be like this, and then when you get there, it's a totally different project. It's a totally different element. You're like, would you really want to give your? I mean, she felt like, oh, she just here so she don't get charged or fined or for breach of contract or contract negotiations or whatever. She's like, I just showed up just to do this so I don't get fined for anything later on.
Well, yeah, but you don't want that because you read the script.
But you can. But my thing is like you can also say no and walk away.
Right.
Like give the money back and walk away. Like so that's my that's my thing. If it's not coming the way you want. Because it's not like I heard anything from people behind the scenes saying like she was unbearable to work with because she just hated the project and didn't want to do it. She's now saying this because the movie was received. It's a reaction to how people are taking it. If this movie came out and people were like, it's okay, she probably wouldn't act like that.
Oh, baby.
The fact that it came out and people literally dragged it like they strapped it to the back of a trailer hitch and drug it down a country road.
And if this movie made a ton of money,
me.
Right? If this movie made a ton of money, she would be basking in that sunlight.
Right.
So I don't like. My thing is like I don't care how you were tricked. Also, I don't understand how you got tricked at all.
No, you need to fire your team.
None of the Sony movies that didn't include Spider-Man have been connected to the MCU, except for Venom, and even that was like sort of erased.
Right. Mm-hmm. You need to fire your team. Don't you?
Right. And she did.
You need to do.
She did. She fired her management. She was like, this ain't it.
Child, the fact that Cedro said that she was the reason it was bad, I'm like, oh, so this is not a Halle Berry and Catwoman situation, so she was just
No,
really bad.
too bad too. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, Catwoman was a bad movie.
No, Catwoman
Holly
was a
Berry,
bad woman. Halle Berry
Holly
did
Berry
Barry was good.
right. Yeah, Halle Berry did her
was great.
thing. Yeah,
Catwoman was just a
just
So that's
horrible.
why I
Just
was
horrible.
like, that's why I was like, this is not a Halle Berry Catwoman situation. The
Right.
movie was bad, and you were also bad.
And that
So
and that's why Halle Berry went in and accepted her Razzie with pride because she's like, I know I did my thing. This movie was just horrible.
Yeah.
So
Right.
and also one of the finest Halle Berry has ever looked ever in anything she's ever been.
okay, and
In.
that
Like
leather.
she's a beautiful woman, but like
Yes.
she was tearing it up in Catwoman and
Mhm.
also acting down. And I was like, oh, this is
down,
why does this movie suck so much? Like, okay,
down.
this is the example that I give to. I mean, the comparison that I draw. Halle Berry's Catwoman, and Keeman and I were talking about this the other day. Halle Berry's Catwoman is like Brandy's Human album, where it's like the actual person is doing an excellent job. Everything around it, like the writing, the actual like product, is not necessarily that good. It's just you've got a talent in a Brandy, or you got a talent in a Halle Berry, elevating something that was already sort of like gross.
Right.
I do not like that album. Oh my god. So yes, perfect
And it's
example.
like, something like when you're really good, you can elevate things. Like you can raise the floor of things, right?
Mhm.
But
You can't raise it
no,
when it's in hell.
Madam Web was not that. Like she didn't
No,
raise
it was
she
not.
didn't raise the floor. She actually made the floor
Lowered it.
Mhm.
and lowered the
she
ceiling.
took it to hell.
Right.
That
Well,
took it to hell.
well, like sub basement level 3, like not quite hell.
Right.
No,
Like
okay.
Madam
Not
Web
the
was
7
not
layer,
like
but
the
she
worst.
made it to a 3 or 4.
Madam Web was not like the worst superhero movie that's ever been made. That's like
It's not.
Darkman.
Oh.
That's like Darkman 2
Oh,
or like Darkman 1. But like but Madam Web is not the worst that's ever happened, but it is pretty bad amongst the movies that have been made today.
yeah.
And that's saying something because we also, to James's point, had Craven. To your point, Keeman, Morbius.
Mhm.
And to Devon's earlier point, let there be carnage. Like
Yeah.
these things occurred. I still haven't seen The Last Dance. I'm like afraid to a little bit.
I've
No,
seen
I will say don't be afraid to. I will say it's lighthearted, but you will enjoy it for what it is.
Is it better than 2?
Yes, it is way better than
me, it
a lot
is.
better than 2. Yeah.
To me, it is definitely.
Yeah.
So it's
because it actually, to me, I feel like compared to 2, it actually has a story.
Yeah.
so it's like the first Jurassic Park trilogy. Like 1 is the best, 3 is better, is like the second, and then
Mhm.
2 is like
Yeah.
the
I
third.
think so.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Carnage, Let There Be Carnage was just kind of like
They just do that. I think they I feel like when they did Let There Be Carnage, they just threw it in, and they just threw a lifeline to Woody Harrelson for some reason. Like, we just got a part for you. We just go throw you this part, and you just do whatever you want. It just feels like it was
Right.
some kind of fodder, but I won't call it cannon fodder, but it was some kind of fodder.
But
And they
even
just-
then, yeah.
I mean,
Without
it's kind
the-
of hard. It's kind of hard to get anybody to believably look like someone named Cletus Cassidy, but
Mhm.
you know, like,
Right.
so I won't.
Like, they just threw this opportunity at Woody Harrelson. Like, you want to be part of a Marvel movie? Sure. Okay, here's who you're playing. You know.
It might eventually tie into the MCU.
Child.
Tricks.
No, if
And
I'm being
Dakota-
honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of any of the Venom films, if I'm being completely honest, because I just feel like, I mean, we've talked about this many times before, how the Sony situation is clearly a money grab, and they're kind of like, trying to ride the coattails of a Spider-Man situation. Like,
Right.
I mean,
They're also trying to keep the rights to the characters
exactly.
because if they
Right.
don't, if they don't release something like what is it every 2 years, at least
Mhm.
something every like 2 years, it like automatically reverts to Marvel.
wonder-
So
I wonder
that's one
who's
of the
next.
reasons why they just keep sort of
Baby.
putting out these.
Who's next?
As
Black
far
Cat?
as no,
I was gonna say Black Cat.
No, they're done. They're Sony.
Yeah, they're not doing. If it
No,
ain't Spider-Man, they ain't doing
Sony
it.
is not doing any more Spider-Man projects without Spider-Man or without Marvel and Disney being involved. They said
No. We're saying what's next, as in villain wise, because you see that they
Oh.
came out with Craven. So Black Cat is obviously the next
I would
choice, maybe.
I yeah, I would have said Scorpion, but he already is in the MCU. He just don't have a suit. Um,
Yeah, and
I
I'm
don't
not
want
even
no parts.
interested.
I
I
do
don't.
not. I same. I was just like, Lord,
Green
I don't want
Goblin?
that.
Green Goblin,
Please, no.
he's
Please,
already been done, but yeah, that would be
please, please.
I
I'm
guess
not
Black
interested.
Cat because there was supposed to be a Black Cat movie. There was.
Yeah,
I'm not
So,
interested. I don't want no parts.
like I don't
but
know if she'll be. I don't know if she'll be a villain because Black Cat is very anti-hero.
hmm
Like as far
Right.
as as far as like Spider-Man coterie goes,
Hood
but
Goblin?
I could see her still being in the next Spider-Man just
yeah.
because they sort of always bring Black Cat or Felicia in some sort of way. Like she shows up. They
hmm
just constantly bring Felicia around. So
Yeah.
to me, like Black Cat makes sense. Clearly have like like a bigger overarching villain, but I think Black Cat could be, especially the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man part of like how Peter has sort of dumbed down his cosmic exposure to the superhero world by the end of Spider-Man 3. I'm sorry, No Way Home.
And,
Um, go
hmm,
ahead, Keeman.
and the crazy thing I'm trying to understand is, like, with them coming out with all of these films, what is the end goal? Because none of these characters have been really in the same room with Spider-Man live action wise, I should say. Because, like, for instance, the whole Venom situation, like, they literally gaslit us. And it was just like, oh, we're gonna get Venom and Spider-Man in the same room and, yada, 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 because of that alternative, I mean, that end credit scene or whatever. But it's like, how do you, what is the end goal? Are you gonna make a villain film? Just like, what are we doing? Like, what is, I don't get it.
So what was supposed? Well, this was the buildup. They were supposed to do a kind of Sinister Six slash Separation Anxiety buildup, but when Venom ate Carnage, that changed it. They post or either it postponed it or changed it, or whatever, because you can't really do Separation Anxiety without Carnage. Not saying that they couldn't bring him back in some kind of way. When he ate him, I was just like, oh, so that kills that idea. So then they focused on it being a Sinister Six kind of thing where we get all six villains together or however many they had, because Venom was more of an anti-hero. He wasn't really against Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
he really wasn't for him either.
Of
So once
course.
they get all of those together, they were supposed to reveal whose Spider-Man universe that was and have him take on all of them. So, but with the way Madam Web went, it pretty much, and then well before Madam Web, I would
With the
say,
way all of their movies
well,
went.
right, with the way all of them went way
I'm
before
sitting there
Madam Web.
like,
Wait, but
it still ain't
Madam
making
Web
sense to me.
but Madam Web was the final nail in the coffin. Like, we not gonna try to pursue this.
Right.
So,
Child, that coffin
I
been
forget.
and sunk and shit in
Yeah.
the
I mean,
water.
every movie was a nail in it. So
Right.
right,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they
Like,
got the rights to Sandman too.
yeah,
So that could have been the next one.
hmm
Elvis. All I'm saying is the way the last Spider-Man film, well, was that the last? Was
which
I don't
one?
think they have. I don't think they actually have the money to do a Sandman.
they don't.
I mean,
They
like,
don't.
I agree with you that Sandman is a good choice to do as another one because one, we've seen him before, so there's a little tease of him existing already in our minds, or
Mhm.
people who aren't like deep fans, like we've seen him before a few times, so like that does work. I totally agree with you on that. I just think it's really hard visually to do
Right.
sand particles and make that like the main character you focus on.
Mm.
And I think Sony would try to cut as much budget as possible and
Yeah,
do a
and make it
cheaper
look cheap.
hero
Right, make it look
and like
real
or
cheap.
do a I'm not hero, I'm sorry, do a cheaper villain. Like that's why they did Craven, you know what I mean, like instead of
Right.
instead of a
The
Sandman, or
Marvels.
like instead of a electro
Yeah,
electro
Electro.
Electro's a Spider-Man villain, isn't he? Or am
Yeah,
I
Shocker.
Yeah.
Well, they could have did Shocker, but of course it wouldn't be the MCU Shocker.
Still
It'd be
they
their
got
own version of Shocker.
yeah,
All
I
I'm
hope
saying is
it's like
based off of
they
the
sort of just ruined it. It's like they wanted to make a thing, they wanted to do the Sinister Six, Like they were aiming towards that. The problem is that every single villain they brought up to try and be a part of the Sinister Six, they basically turned into an anti-hero instead of a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, Vulture basically became like a good guy to a certain degree because he didn't even rat out Peter Parker when he could have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he sort of became a good guy. Morbius was like an anti-hero in his story. Kraven is like an hero basically in his story. He's not even really an anti-hero. He just kills people. Like he just kills the bad people. Like he's not even really an anti-hero because he's much more noble than that, especially because of the way that he sticks up for animals, which is again very different than Kraven is supposed to be. So and then you do all of the Venom movies where Venom is basically he's an anti-hero that turns into a hero by the end. And so all of these characters you're trying to set up to be angry enough at a Spider-Man character to join forces to go against him, none of them have the motivation. That's why even that weird scene at the end of Morbius that I think got like deleted eventually, where Morbius was meeting with or ran into Vulture.
Which was,
it was like, why the fuck would they even team up? Like,
just what I'm saying. Literally what I'm saying. None of this makes sense.
It's like you're trying to pair a Scorpio and a Pisces, and like it's never gonna work. So like, what do we? No.
Hey, okay, hold on.
Kiva said, "I feel some kind of way now." Wait a minute.
I get in here. Damn.
How I reacted to this?
But no, like it just doesn't make any sense because it's like you were doing all of this, and the end goal. None of us obviously. I mean, at this point, we don't know what the end goal is because it's like. Y'all are literally like, oh, let's just fling some shit up in the ceiling and see what sticks. And, but it's just like, after the last Spider-Man film, I don't want to see a Sinister Six. I don't.
The ceiling has collapsed. The ceiling is the roof.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not needed because I feel like in the last Spider-Man film, we got a pretty good battle between some villains and some Spider-Mans. I don't need it. I don't know what y'all are doing. Y'all are literally just, again, throwing shit up and seeing how people will like it. But at this point, get it together, y'all. We don't like it. We have shit talked every movie y'all put out.
It's kind of like the Peacock app.
Oh.
In the sense of the Peacock app came pretty recently, like it's relatively new, right? But it is a streaming service, a streaming app. They have original things, and they're relatively new compared to some of the other ones we're more used to, the Hulu, the Netflix, the those types of things. The thing that's kind of weird to me is that when you come up after something else that's already existed and done it excellently, and you're brand new, why are you not as together? Like, why is your shit not as together?
Why?
It's like it's almost to that fashion point. It's almost like every season or every cycle of like Top Model or Project Runway, you should get more and more talented contestants because they've probably already seen what's happened before and know what's supposed to happen. That doesn't.
And they even say it on the show.
It doesn't.
Like, have you seen the show?
But it usually does. Because those people are like fans of the show so much. By the time you get to season cycle 12, they've seen a bunch of them, so they know how it goes. They know what they need to have. They know what to practice for and study for, right? So it's weird to me, like a Peacock comes out, and like, why is the streaming app so wonky and so glitchy when you have the examples of like Netflix doing their thing for over a long time, like Hulu doing their thing. You have all of these examples of how to do it well. And you still can't get it right. So my thing is, I don't understand how Sony has put out this many horrible movies when the thing that they're tangentially connected to in Marvel has had such a great like string of planning to get their stuff together. Like, how do you turn around and say, like Keeman said, like, it really just seems like you just had a bunch of people in a room and nobody came up with a good idea. And you just went with whatever you thought might be the best idea at the time. Like, it doesn't feel like any good planning. It doesn't feel like anything's really thought out. Random bullshit. Go. Exactly. It's like, it's like, let's do a Spider-Man movie. Fuck, we can't do a Spider-Man movie because we're contractually tied up with Marvel to do that with them. But we want to make our own money and we want to keep the rights. So what do? What if we make other Spider-Man movies out of other Spider-Man people? Like who? Well, Venom's a great Venom. That was their best choice.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best choice they've made. That was also the first choice they made outside of Spider-Man.
It
And
is.
Venom 1 came out when? Like 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's a smart. Yeah,
That was like
Yeah,
2015.
yeah,
And so it's
that's
just
a smart
like
choice.
you guys haven't made a good choice since. And maybe this is the whole takeaway from all of this. Like, as much as we want to knock Sony, as much as we want to knock DC at times, as much as we want to knock like Star Wars at times, I think Marvel has proven that it is really difficult to make a universe that is cohesive and
Right.
enjoyable. And the fact that they've done everything that they've done, even though people have tried to shit on them and drag them lately, which I think is still uncalled for, and overly harsh.
Everybody
Like,
else is doing it.
they're showing you, because all these other franchises are not succeeding in the same way.
Right.
Like, every time they come out with a new thing, people hate it, or it's like, this is trash. Why did you even think about doing this? The Terminator movies, you know what I mean? Like, all these franchises just keep putting out random bullshit going, right? And so it sort of shows you that, like, as much as people want to knock Marvel in the MCU, they've done an excellent job of like having a plan and a roadmap, and then adjusting to when those things don't pan out. It's like, yes, we may occasionally, like, yes, we bring up pretty much every week that we talk the fact that Blade is still in like development hell, but it's not like they haven't. It's not like they haven't put out anything else. You know what I mean? It's not like they made a Blade movie and just bend it like they did with
Like
Batgirl.
Batgirl.
You know what I mean? Like, it just hit the same thing that movies always hit, but because Marvel is so popular, people are tuned into everything they do behind the scenes. So like,
Right.
we know way more information about this Blade movie that's supposed to be at some point than we usually would ever know about anything. You know, like, most of the time we don't know this much information, but because people are so dialed in, like, we know it. And because we know it, we now feel more slighted by the fact that it doesn't exist yet, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is movies go through that all the time.
Yeah.
They're going through that now. Like, they're still trying to figure out if they wanted, like, how much of this like Mandalorian Ahsoka movie is supposed to be happening. Like, Calvin, I just hope Sony finds a team that greenlit these movies that feature Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man. That didn't make any sense. You are right. But they couldn't make it with Spider-Man because that would have to involve Marvel. So they thought that they could create their own side universe that sometimes teased a Spider-Man with Marvel while they like built up a coterie of things. The problem with that is, like, you decided to do it with villains that either villains or anti-heroes, and every villain you took either ended up being an anti-hero or a hero by the end. You know, when you try to build a universe of superheroes, or a universe that's based on a comic book that has superheroes and special powered people, you kind of have to build a universe of heroes or good-natured people. It's very difficult to build a universe of villains. Sony failed at it. That dark universe bullshit that happened a few years ago when they were trying to redo the Mummy and Frankenstein and the Wolfman, but they only did like one movie and decided to have Tom Cruise in it, and it tanked. So like,
of course it did.
And so it's like, it's hard. It's just really difficult to build a universe where it's focused on, or a franchise universe where everything's focused on like villains or questionably moral people. Like, it's hard to do that. The successful universes so far have been built on the backs of heroes or people coming through and doing good in the end.
Right.
And so it's just, it's difficult. It's super difficult. And they made it more difficult by having horrible scripts, casting pretty damn poorly, having horrible scripts, casting poorly, horrible scripts, casting poorly, continuing to sign checks to make horrible scripts and cast poorly. Like,
a waste of time and money.
Right. I like, you should have just thrown money out the window. At least that would help somebody.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's move on to our next to our first topic. Well,
sorry,
one of our first topics. It's okay.
Sorry, y'all. I have to go. I am being
all right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Keeman.
Thank y'all. I'm so mad I don't get to talk about What If, but it was. mm,
What did you think
mhm,
of it as a whole as this last season? Right quick.
mm. I me and Cedro briefly talked about it, and overall, I think it was pretty good. Um, I was, obviously I don't know what's gonna come from this,
Hmm.
live action wise. But I think me and Cedro both agree that we would love to see if anybody outside in this entire show, we both want to see Cohorty,
Yes.
please and thank you.
Yes.
But overall, I think it was good. I did ask Cedro a question the other day about um how they didn't do a story with Storm to then introduce her, but he made a good point about how Storm is such a popular character that she doesn't necessarily need that
Right.
introduction. But we also kind of put two and two together that there was probably another episode that was supposed to happen that might have, or was supposed to involve Kane, and they probably cut that, and she might have been a part of that, for all we know. But
Mm.
overall, I think the show was good. Um, I didn't expect the ending, but cool.
Okay.
Like,
Right.
it also raises the question of, are these individuals in their new found positions, are they going to show up in a live action like this, or just in general? You know, like, are they going to show up as the Watchers, or are they going to show up as what we saw before they became that? So, yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. It was cool, but it, I ain't gonna lie, it ain't nothing that I feel like I want to go back and watch. Um,
Yeah.
personally, I think
Hmm.
I'll probably go back and see the Storm moment because I mean I was like fanboying like crazy. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
Definitely.
whatever.
Yeah.
Other than that, and on top of that, it being the original voice actor from the show,
Hmm.
X-Men series, so it's just like cool. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I was just like, I don't know about this, but I watched it. There were some episodes that I loved more than others. The Avengers episode with the banner, with Hulk and everything. I enjoyed that one.
The
From
Voltron episode, the Voltron Avengers.
Right.
right,
The Megazord
because
Avenger.
yeah, the Transformers Avengers. Yeah, it was very that one. I enjoyed that one. So yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, it was good. But yeah,
Okay.
that's my take.
All
I'll
right.
go further into the
Thanks.
conversation.
Thanks, Keeman.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all. Have a good
All
Bye.
right.
one.
You have a good one.
Okay. So we're gonna run through as fast as we can about Secret Level. Now, Secret Level was a show that came out on Amazon Prime that came from the creators of Love, Death, and Robots, where they take games and they have little mini episodes with them. Even though there was one episode that was kind of not so many, it was like it could have been a full length episode to be honest. um, but yeah, they said, well, we're gonna take these different games and give you an episode of their take on them, what they would do with them. And I have to say that my favorites were the ones I liked were Dungeons and Dragons, Sifu, um, the Unreal Tournament one was good. The Warhammer one, the Pac-Man one, which was weird, and it made me go, "Who thought of this for Pac-Man?" But Armored Core was pretty good. Crossfire was the one that was longer than any of the other ones. I felt like I was like, is this a full episode? Or is this supposed to be like a little clip? But it turned out being really long. Um, the Outer Worlds one, mm, Mega Man Start, definitely a favorite of mine. Um, the Exodus Odyssey was that was okay. Um, Spelunking Tally, that was okay. That was okay. Concord was it was okay. It was all right. It was better than the game, but yeah, it was It was all
Mhm.
right. The Honor of Kings was okay, and the playtime fulfillment. The last episode was actually good. I like that one a lot. Did you have any ones that you liked, Cedro?
I mean, I'll say that I liked them all.
Mm-hmm.
I disliked the series as a whole, though.
Okay.
And I know that that sounds contradictory, so I'll try to clarify.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought all of the shorts were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I liked the most about it was like a good portion of them are games that I'd never played before, and a couple were games that I'd never heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe heard in passing, but nothing that like stuck in a way where I even knew what the game was about. So watching the video, like, so for me as a gamer, or as a gamer, but not necessarily a hardcore gamer, um, I enjoyed the episodes the most on the games that I didn't know anything about or
Okay.
didn't know much about. Um, I thought the Dungeons and Dragons one was probably the best one of games that I was aware of that I liked the most.
Mm-hmm.
The Pac-Man one was also really cool because of how different it went. And a
Yeah.
side note on that, there is actually a game that is out now or coming out that is based off of that
Oh.
video. So
Wow.
there's already like a trailer for it online. It's like a Castlevania sort of Metroidvania type game.
Mm.
Um, but there is a game for that Pac-Man episode that's more in line with what happened in the episode than it is with the actual
Ah.
game Pac-Man,
Okay.
which I thought was pretty a cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I don't like this series more than I like their other works from Love, Death, and Robots is because Love, Death, and Robots felt like a Black Mirror or like a Twilight Zone, but for animation
Mm-hmm.
and giving a lot of different animators chances to show their work and their style. This did a similar thing as far as letting animators show their individual style and ideas, but I felt like the whole show was basically just advertisement for the game and not nearly as much let me tell cool stories with these characters. Like every single story for the most part was just setting you up to the beginning of whatever the game was about.
Mm.
Like it felt like this whole show was just a way to funnel people to buy the games that they're nodding to and not an actual like homage to the games that they're nodding to. It's almost like when you watch a Lego movie, well, not the Lego movie specifically, but when you watch some of those other Lego TV shows and some of those other Lego games, it's almost like the games themselves are really just trying to sell the Lego toys and not actually trying to be like great games, if
Mm.
that makes sense. And so like
Yeah.
that's what I felt like with this, because every time I started getting into any of the show, any of the episodes, it was over. And then it was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Like, you're not continuing this. You basically cut this off right after the beginning opening caption movie that sets up the story. And
Mm-hmm.
so for a lot of them, I just felt empty at the end, or not empty, but like wanting more in a way where I didn't feel like I'd gotten enough satisfaction from the thing. So like the Mega Man thing, cool as hell. Like I thought it was really cool. It was also only like 8 minutes. And by the time it actually got like to the part where I wanted to watch more, it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically the case for every one of those episodes to me, in a way where I felt like all you're doing is just trying to make me buy the game
Mm.
and
Okay.
not actually trying to give me a visual, enjoyable thing that can sit alone.
Mm.
So like that to me, like overall, I didn't like the series as a whole for what their aim seemed to be, but I did think that all of the individual episodes were really, really well done, and some of them even were above and beyond that.
Okay.
Um, Armored Core. Oh, the Armored Core one. I wanted to say this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that they gave with that one. They gave us the feel of the actual game
Mm-hmm.
in the movie, because one of the coolest parts about Armored Core 4 is like the speed with which your mech is flying around and using jets and jetting in all these different directions to battle a bunch of different other mech enemies that are just as mobile and just as many weapons as you. So like that arcadey speed and like exhilaration excitement, I thought they captured really well in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it doesn't hurt to have Keanu Reeves.
No, it doesn't. Keanu Reeves is amazing.
Like, what
He-
can't he do, right?
right.
You sure are a colorful bunch.
Mm-hmm. In that tone. Calvin says, so the Pac-Man episode was based on a game called Shadow Labyrinth. It was in development before this series, and when they want to do a Pac-Man episode, they said use this game for the episode. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll check it out. I'll check out the trailer and see what it's about. But yeah, that episode made me go, wait. So now that I know that, but at first I was just like, this is odd for Pac-Man. Like, you have a AI waking you up. So I know you must be hungry. I'm like, is this the same Pac-Man that I've been playing for you? Of course
Right.
it wasn't.
And the fact
But
that it like looked like a power pellet,
yeah,
like hovering next to him, and then when it like transformed, it basically turned into like the big. Yeah.
yeah,
I thought it was cool because it was really dark.
yes,
And I love the fact that it went there. Now, clearly, like you said, it was based off of a different game, but even that game has the root base of trying to make a darker version of like something to do with Pac-Man.
mhm,
Now, I'll say that they did a really good. I think they did a really good job with that. With that, it reminded me of how Winnie the Pooh and like
but
some of those characters, like
oh,
the rights became public, and as a result, people started like, oh,
the
let's
blood
make a
and honey.
horror movie with like Winnie
Yeah,
the Pooh. That's what it felt like with this. It was like we've got Pac-Man, and like everything's sort of like happy and bing, 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 right? And then it's like, no, let's make it dark and bloody and gory. And it's like, oh, I didn't even know this was possible, but I like it.
right,
But please give me more.
right,
Um,
exactly. Because out of all of these shorts, I wanted more. I was like, especially the Mega Man one, the Sifu one, even the Armored Core one. I never played Armored Core, but I wanted more of that too. And then the last one, Playtime, I was just like, I want more of some of these, and I'm just like, we won't ever probably get it though, but I want more, you know.
yeah.
And I was
So
just like,
do you think we're getting a season 2?
I mean, it's possible we could begin season 2, and I'm hoping that if we do, we get some continuation from a few of the ones in season 1, but also I know they're gonna probably bring in some other games for season 2.
Yeah. So I mean, to that point, like, one, do you think there's going to be a season 2? I guess this is for both of y'all. One, do you think there's going to be a season 2? And two, do you think it's going to be a continuation of from one, or do you? I mean, like, clearly they will add some new stuff. Like they
Mhm.
almost have to.
Yeah.
But what game would you like to see that maybe you didn't see in this one?
You know what? Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
That would be interesting. Or even Smash Brothers. That would be interesting. That would be real interesting. I don't see. I can't see them doing everybody because of budget and animation wise, but just like enough to give us like who else is left after Master Hand? Who else could be a threat to us? You know.
Right.
Right.
I would. I mean, I could deal with that. Like if they did one where it's like you get one character, like a Mario or a Kirby or something,
Yeah.
and he fights a few different characters, and then at the very end, after he thinks he's like maybe the last character he faces is like Ganondorf or Sephiroth or something, right?
Mhm.
Or what's Mishima? What's his first name? Oh my gosh, from Tekken.
Not Jin. God dang it.
Kazuya.
Kazuya. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, like maybe he fights Kazuya, and like it's a tough ass battle, and he's battered and stuff at the end, or whatever whoever the main character is, but he finally beats like the big boss he thinks is the big boss, and then like Master Hand descends, and
Right.
then credits. Like
Right.
that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because I did appreciate the Sifu one a lot more because there was so much. I'm always a sucker for good fight choreography.
Yes.
Right.
And so like a Smash Brothers one, I think could actually be a really nice one. James, do you think they might do like a Persona?
Yeah, that'll be a good story. That'll be easy for them to storytell because there's a lot to that game.
Yeah.
I hope they get Street Fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, Street Fighter. Yeah.
Um,
I would even say I know this is shot in the dark and it's an old fighter game, But if they did Power Stone, like somebody went back in the vault and said, "Oh, I'm going to do a Power Stone one," I would be like, "Oh yes."
Right. Elder Scrolls would be an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of that story is already painted
Yeah.
out. Like
Right.
that would be a cool one, just because like some of the games in this were sort of like that too, where some of the games are like more RPG and actually have stories that you can really make out of. Like
Right.
some of them were like, "Oh, you really went through this backstory?" Like the Mega Man one, like cool backstory, bro. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we get that much like depiction in any of the Mega Man games. So much, like we may know this is where his origin comes from, but as
Mm-hmm.
far as it like being doled out, that's why I kind of appreciated that show that just a little bit more. But yeah, I think those would be some really cool ones to do.
And I think they're coming out with a new Mega Man game, not a sequel to 11. I think it's supposed to be like a remaster or no, a reboot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one that not so obvious.
You know what?
I actually want a Zelda one.
Yes.
Or Legend of Zelda one. I mean, now if it's a choice between a short in a anthology series, or can we just get like an animated movie or something like that, then I just go for the animated movie. But like I really hope that Nintendo succeeding with the Mario movie makes them now think about like doing a similar thing with Legend of Zelda. Because I know at one point they were trying to do like the live action thing with Netflix, but then Netflix leaked too much information beforehand and Nintendo got smoked and pulled the whole thing. But like, I don't know. I don't think I want a live action Zelda. I think I'd rather have like an animated Zelda series.
Yeah.
You know what I would like for Secret Level to do? A Ghost of Tsushima one, but it's Jin's last fight or mission or whatever. When it's like a conclusion to his story, and then we get why we got Ghost of Yote, and not another Jin Sakai story. That would be awesome.
I got one. Pong.
Pong.
Just how like they did Pac-Man, do Pong like the battle to the death kind of thing.
Yeah, but it'd be dark, and if you miss a line or a block, I'm sorry, if you miss a block, you kind of die or something torturous happens to you. That would be.
Yeah. It's also very similar to that game that was played in Tron Legacy, though. I feel like if you were to try to make Pong like something darker and realer, like it almost would be like what that scene in Tron Legacy where like the blue light guy and the orange light guy are sort of throwing that. I forgot what the game is called, but where they're throwing that thing back and forth and like catching it and bouncing it off and whatever.
Okay, so what's been lit for season 2? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because those people were very like Love, Death, and Robots has 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And all of those seasons to me are great. Like all of the episodes are just wonderful to enjoy and sit in and stuff. Now, again, it's because I'm twisted internally and I love dark stuff, but like I think it makes sense that this would be greenlit for more just because of the marketing ability of what it achieves. Like I said, it just felt like they were advertising for the games and not necessarily giving us something that's an homage to the games. So I can see them being like, yeah, we'll greenlit this so that you can sign some more games up and make some great episodes that make people buy these games. Like that sort of, it works. So it makes sense. And I'll be there to watch it. Go ahead.
I got another one.
What?
Duck Hunt. Okay, they can make that dog.
Yeah,
they can make that dog evil because you already hate him because he laugh at you while you trying to shoot when you miss these ducks. So imagine like a darker, sinister version of him.
Now
he laughs at the person the whole time because they're so bad at hunting,
right?
They keep missing, and he's like laughing at him the whole time. So like at the end, you just see like. You see the dog like off somewhere, just lying limp, and the person walking away like grinning, like they're laughing now. Who's laughing now?
Like he's like
Exactly.
every mistake you made, you see something laughing in the corner with red eyes or something.
Yeah. But you know what?
And
They
after a
already.
while, you drives you crazy. Like I gotta kill this thing.
But you know they already. If they want to do something like that with Mario, they should do it from the Mario dot exe. Like it's like a Mario. Um, damn it! It's like a creepy pasta Mario where he's really like this evil. Think of Wario in the big no, not the big well, something else with a big mouth doing a fusion dance, and that's what you get. It's basically Mario if he's
I don't know what was just positioned to me just now. Picture Wario and something else with a big mouth fusing. What are you talking?
Hold on.
Did we
But
just
yeah,
get into Bara? Like what are we?
not Bara.
Well, I think they would never. Well, my thing is like they would never do. Nintendo would never allow any of the characters they currently hold any rights to be in anything dark or twisted or
Right.
bloody. So like that's a no.
Right.
But
Right.
Same thing with Kingdom Hearts. If they do Kingdom Hearts, they're gonna be straight power, friendship, wins
Right.
all kind of
also,
situation.
I don't know if Disney would even allow it.
No.
Like I mean, as far as like the characters they own.
Yeah.
Some of these games are like some of these Nintendo
Yeah.
games, like Smash Brothers, Kingdom Hearts, just might be too difficult licensing wise to get the
Right.
rights
That's
to
why I'm
like
thinking older
animate
games.
these characters.
Mhm.
Right.
But it would be fun.
The dark side of Mario. Mario 85 is what it's called. Yeah. But no, I mean I don't think they will allow it. Like I think Pac-Man gets away with it in a certain way, but seeing Mario flip go berserk, Dorkly already makes fun of that, so but I don't think Nintendo would actually let people see that side of Mario or any of the other characters that they do.
No.
Like what would happen if Link went berserk and just said fuck the Triforce, he's just gonna go around and kill people just for the fun of it.
Oh, isn't that what we do in the game anyway? I mean, we do just run up on
Well,
goblins, like just
Not
murdering them
trading.
in their homes. So we
Not
really do
trading.
run up. We really do run up on them like Anakin in episode
the
2.
Final Fantasy story.
I killed them all, even the women and children.
He did trade the Triforce for a pentagram.
Right, or like they did in the first episode of Halo where they went Game of Thrones on the children. I was just like, oh my god, like why?
I got one they can rip. Undertale will be a good one.
What?
Okay.
Undertale.
Undertale. Oh, Undertale would definitely be a good one. Yeah.
Cause it's indie made
Mm-hmm.
and it probably be easy to get the rights to.
Oh yeah.
So
Fable, maybe.
Ooh, yes. I love Fable would be good.
I'm actually interested for this new Fable game. I didn't really play the old Fable, like any of the other Fable games, but I enjoyed watching them and just sort of like the lore in the games. I'd be interested to see something depicted animated wise. Like that would be cool.
I really like you can pick to be good or evil.
Yep.
And still play the game.
I remember when the ex of mine had it, he decided to be evil. I was just like, why are you being evil? Because it's fun and I get to just do whatever I want. I'm like, I see your dark side coming out. That's fine.
It's fun because normally when you pick the wrong answer in certain games, like game over, because they want you to pick.
Yeah.
In this, you actually have a choice.
It's very like
you
a
can be good, evil, or you can be neutral.
Right. Like it's not a choose your own adventure where like 90% of the choices end up with you dead.
Right.
Those Goosebumps choose your own adventures where it was like,
oh yeah,
you turn down a corner, you're covered in slime and drown.
Right. Or you chose to go to page 47. You have just went down a shaft with spikes down at the bottom and now you're dead. Like, what the fuck?
I remember somebody did a skit of that. They were like, turn the page. You're like, nope. I know, nope. I didn't turn the page. I didn't turn the page.
Right.
I would love to do a skit of that. Back in elementary and middle school, the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Path books. Turn to page 52. Why? What? Why? Just do it. It says that I ran into traffic and got hit by 2 cars and died. What the fuck?
The book version of spoilers.
Right.
And like Goosebumps was dark as hell for children. Like dark as hell. Like some of those books were just wait.
Yeah,
this
some of the books were
happening?
like insane. Some of them were like goofy.
Was this woman's grandmother dead in this closet the whole time? Like what?
Right.
Yeah, and
I'm 7.
And like some of them was real goofy. Like you ate a magical candy that made you fat, and you had to find a cure. You like some stuff like that. But some of them were like, oh my god, like this is a dead child.
So Violet from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing, where she ate that candy and she grew violet and big.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there were some weird ones. Wasn't there one that was sort of based on that? I forgot what the name of the Star Trek animal is, but there's like an alien animal in Star Trek that's like a little fluffy ball, and it procreates like crazy.
Yes, I know.
And there was like a Goosebumps thing where the guy bought like a unique pet or something, and it like kept multiplying or growing or something. And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, one about the evil bike. I remember that one. Like I said, the most memorable one is the puppet.
Yes, Night of the Living Dummy. 1, 2, 3.
Sid.
Yeah.
Speaking of Goosebumps, you know they came out with another
season.
Season. I thought it was series.
Well, it's both. It's not tied directly to the first. It's almost like Goosebumps is trying to do the teeny bopper American Horror Story. And so it's like the first season took place in like a town, and they incorporated a few different elements from different Goosebumps books into that one season of story. And then this one is like a new story or a new group of people or whatever, but it's still under the Goosebumps moniker. So it's like Goosebumps is basically trying to do like an American Horror Story type of anthological sort of series.
Yeah, it's called The Vanishing.
Yeah, and it stars Ross from Friends.
Yeah.
What was? I know this is totally random and off the left field.
Yes.
But what was that show on Nickelodeon? Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Maybe. Now that was good. Now you want something to get you, the music alone get you scared.
Just give me Tales from the Crypt. That was my show.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Another show. Now I know it's very cartoonish and kiddish, but I did like Real Monsters. I did like that one when I was a kid.
that one Cartoon Network was very experimental with their cartoons. They had everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have been watching.
Nope, we shouldn't have been watching that one.
Like you have Doug, then you have Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh my gosh, so many adult themes in Rocko's Modern that we did not realize until we got older. We were like, wait a minute, how did this get past the what do they call it? This
yeah.
The seat what's that company that Family Guy made fun of the censoring people. How did this get past
4 Kids? Are you talking about 4 Kids?
Oh,
see, Nickelodeon. Well, back in the day, I don't know about now, but Nickelodeon was the experimental cartoon network. Then you had the Disney Channel was more family friendly. Then you had Cartoon Network kind of in between both of them.
Cartoon Network was like, we just gonna do shit, and y'all gonna like Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network in its early days was absolutely let's just throw crazy shit at the wall and see what works, because that whole cartoon show birthed like half of their classics.
Johnny Bravo, Pop-Up Girl, Dexter's Laboratory,
yes.
Oh, God, there was like so many that don't get enough shine, but I can't think of them right now. Like they had one about a robot that goes to school. I can't think of the name.
Didn't like 2 Stupid Dogs come from that too?
Yep, 2 Stupid Dogs.
Yep.
Oh, it's so cute. But
I Am Weasel.
I Am Weasel.
Yeah, just good.
Baby.
Oh my goodness. They had some hit or misses, but their hits were nice.
Yeah, a lot better than Teen Titans Go. I'll tell you that.
Sugar, spice, everything nice. these are the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girls.
Right.
But Professor Utonium
It
accidentally
was so
added
much.
an extra ingredient to the concoction. Chemical
But
X.
but what was so funny about that show? It was so cutesy, but when they were whooping behind, it was like blood everywhere.
You know what? It did. You know, you had the Rowdy Rough Boys who I seen like 3 guys cosplay as them at the last con I went to, but there was also a poll that said,
No, you talking about the grown Roddy
yeah, the Rowdy, yeah,
like
but
the ones that were robbing the bank ones.
but there was also but there was also a poll that I made talking about, would you rather get jumped by Batman once a year, or would you rather get jumped by the Powerpuff Girls every day? And people were like, "I'll take Batman once a year," because the Powerpuff Girls were.
Baby, the way
Did
they
y'all
whoop
see Lady
Mojo
Mojo Jojo?
You could limit the frequency. You could be like once a year by Batman or once a year by the Powerpuff Girls. I'm choosing Batman.
Still Batman.
You are still Batman, right?
Girl, Batman might give me a broken arm or a leg. I can survive that.
But my
three,
brains
but three
on the outside of
Supergirls,
my head,
3
Right.
Supergirls
right?
at age
Girl.
like 7, just whooping my ass. Like no,
Girl, the way they whoop Mojo Jojo's ass on a
Right.
daily basis,
Had
and his
him-
brains is all over. No, I want my
Right,
brains on the
right,
concrete.
just broken
Oh,
tooth,
yeah.
black eyes,
He had no
multiple
teeth left.
fractures, and you got a choice of whether you getting either you're gonna freeze to death, you'll get laser eyed, or you're gonna be deaf. But it's one of them or all 3 because they can do all 3. I'm like, no,
Right.
I am good.
Or you really bad luck and catch bubbles on a bad day, and she really would be. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Baby,
Give
when
me
that
Batman.
guy with bubbles snapped, I was like, oh shit. Like
Batman will come in like, look, I know you haven't done nothing. I'm just gonna break your arm because I'm contractually obligated to do something to you. So I'm just gonna break your arm and we're gonna move on about our day.
no, just kick me inside the head. Don't break my arm. I'm already having a bad day.
I mean, you gotta be physically injured, but I'd rather have that than drop my brains on a concrete.
Right. And then you also have to take into account that it's not like they're not working with
yeah, Creature was pretty
Ooh,
good.
Creature.
They're not working with hands like Batman has. They literally have like club arms.
Right.
Like,
Right.
And you beat
no
me with
fingers.
nubs, no man.
It's like a baseball bat, but like a human arm instead. It's just like no, I'm good.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. You could
At least Batman's. At least
you know
Batman's
Batman's not
human.
gonna kill you,
Right. At least Batman's
or at
human.
least he's gonna try not to.
right.
Well, like
Bubbles,
I said,
Bubbles could just like headbutt you in your whole
right,
body
one
shatters.
smack and she throw you across the town.
Right. Multiple fractures and then death.
It's like at least with Batman, he only needs like one punch, and you pretty much
Right.
dead.
This not me. I'll be good. I probably need a good sleep anyway.
Sleep.
Right. This chokehold me.
Right.
Right. This chokehold me and just lay me on the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, who picked the Powerpuff Girl? But anyway.
Right.
Like I said, you can tell who didn't watch the show.
Right, because I was like, a lot of people said Batman, and no, there was an actual YouTube, there was actual podcast debate, and one guy said I choose Batman, and then one guy was like, no, I think I take the Powerpuff Girls. They were like, wait, you would take the Powerpuff Girls whipping your ass every day,
Every day.
every day.
Once a year by Batman will get whooped by the Powerpuff Girls every day.
Every day.
You can tell he haven't watched the show and no means.
Yeah, it's like
unless you watch like the 2018-17 version, whatever that came out.
Oof.
Now we talking about the original, used to be called the Whoop Ass Girls.
Right.
Powerpuff Girls.
The girls that went to school and were in bed by 8:00, but went and fought, but when they fought crime, there was no host bar. They went all out.
I'd rather fight Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Here's a question for y'all: Would you rather fight 25 full-grown bears or 200 snakes?
All the snakes venomous, so I just can't beat.
That's a good question. I would say to even it out a bit, the snakes are not venomous, but they are large.
Oh,
not anaconda large, but like medium boa large.
Mate.
Oh.
Okay.
So how many bears was it that I had to fight?
25 fully grown
And
grizzly
200
bears.
Okay.
And
I was about to
200
say
snakes.
these. Okay, these are animal bears.
Yes. These are...
The fact he had to ask if they were animal bears.
Right, I'm gonna take the 25. I'm gonna take the 25 men.
Right.
I'm like,
Because it's like you play the numbers. You play the numbers game with
oof.
with the danger of the size, but then it's like then you play on the fear that people innately have towards like spiders and snakes and anything that has more or less limbs than like a human has. So
Right.
I think I would take the bears. I think I would take my chance with the bears. I would.
take the bears.
I take the bears.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go for the snakes.
Wise choice.
I'm gonna just go for the just because they will probably be able to swarm me fast, but I feel like I have more of a chance of either getting away from them or
Right.
killing a bunch of them and maybe
Right.
coming out alive. Like 20, I don't know if I can deal with 25 bears barehanded.
Right.
Like I
Mhm.
think that would
I
just
can
be the
sling
end
a
of it. That would,
snake. I can't sling a bear.
yeah, and I'm not really
True. True.
outrunning them either. Like it's just tough.
Hmm.
You know, even
And
if I
some of
get
these,
into like if I climb a tree, a bear is coming after me.
Hmm.
If I
absolutely.
or a bear, or they're gonna knock the tree down, right? A snake
Right.
may be able to climb up the tree after me, but that's like one snake at a time or two snakes at a time. So I can deal with if I can get them to a point where I can funnel them in, I can deal with the snakes better than I
But
could deal with like any situation that I try to put myself in with the bear, short of
right.
having a machine gun and a
Yeah.
lot of
Right.
distance.
And like I say, the
Like
worst
I
thing
don't.
about snake is they bite you and squeeze you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bear is gonna use the teeth claws, and these are
And their
multiple.
size.
No.
And their size. Yeah.
But I think the swarming thing is the scariest part about a snake because, like, yes,
Yeah.
even if it's not poisonous, if it's big enough to wrap around you, if it
Hmm.
inhibits your movement enough, the other snakes will catch up and wrap around the other parts of you, and then
Right.
like you're done.
Yeah.
But a bear's paw is larger, is like twice the size of my head,
Mhm.
and so one hit from a bear is just done. It's like facing a boss in a Dark Souls like
Dude.
game. It's like you get one hit, you're dead. At least with the snakes, I
Right.
can like deal with some of it and maybe get
Right.
through. I don't know. It's tough. Okay, so
Mm.
all of those or 100 spiders, tarantulas.
Non-poisonous ones.
I don't think it matters, but sure. Let's say non-poisonous.
I think I could deal with the spiders a lot better than anything else. I could just
How many spiders?
He said 100 spiders.
100. Oh, then probably spiders.
Yeah.
It depends the room we're in.
Because the
If
thing
we
is,
spread
okay,
out,
this is,
man,
this is the other
yes.
thing. The whole point of this is like the group of animals. The
Yeah.
only thing in their mind is to come
It
after
can kill
you and
you
end
and hurt you. Right.
Mhm.
So I feel like with the spiders, you might be able to stomp a few, but if they're all swarming and they can climb, go anywhere, some of them jump, it's like you're going to have like 50 spiders on you, and I don't know how much you're doing after that. Now, to be fair, it's not if they're not poisonous, you just be getting bitten, and that's not necessarily like life ending for a spider to
Right.
bite you.
Poisonous is
You know,
no.
if a bear bites you, it might be a wrap, right?
It's
If a
done.
snake bites you, depending on where they bite you, especially if they get you like around your neck or in your face or something, like
Right.
maybe that's a wrap. I think you could withstand more spider bites, but it would be getting them off of you and killing them all that I feel like would be the hardest
Right.
part
Mhm.
because of how small and mobile and like quick. I don't know. That's a weird one. It's
Well,
tough.
I'm like, if I'm dying by poison or bear claw.
Or maybe I should switch the number. Maybe it should be 25 bears, 100 snakes, or 200 spiders.
No, it should not. God dang, Cedro.
I still
You
pick the
are
snake.
horrible. No, get out here. 200. 200 spiders now? No.
Yes.
In a finite room? No, ma'am.
No. Look.
I might well just lay on the floor and die.
It's like Cedro should have been an agent at in the cabin in the woods. Cedro would have enjoyed that job. He would have been in that machine at the control room talking about something. No, that's not enough spiders. We need 200.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
I sent in applications for Squid Game. I forgot back to me.
Basically, the question is, where would you last longer in? You'll last longer with the spiders because you can stomp them.
It's not like what will you survive. It's like which one will you last?
You'll last longer,
right?
Because you can. Well, a bunch of bears coming after you, you a rat. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if you ain't got no weapon, then you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's accurate. It's like if it's more than one bear, you're
right.
done. Like,
you may have can punch one bear in the snout to stun them for a minute.
Maybe. If it's more than one bear, it's done. So that's why I would never choose the bear option. Like,
no, we don't want
25.
I changed my mind. I don't want the bears.
Oh,
if I don't have a weapon, I don't want them. Nope.
Right. Like I said, you can stun one bear. Like you hit him in the eye or you hit him in the nose.
Right.
Stun them long enough, you probably can find a way to kill it. But you stunning one while the other 24. No.
You try to punch one bear, the second bear like grabs your ankle by its mouth and just yanks.
Right.
You. Like it's just no. The bear thing would end fast.
Oh.
All right.
At least with the spiders, they got toxins. At least after a while, the toxins is going to kill you.
Thank you, Cal. He says, I have to say that I'm really enjoying today's conversation. Y'all hit on everything I love. I will be tuning in more often on Sundays. Well, we're glad.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, appreciate you.
Thank you for joining in. That helps.
Yes. And plus, you might be able to kick a snake out of a tree. You ain't kicking no bear out of a tree. That's true, Sammy.
You can't kick a bear nowhere.
You try to kick a bear out of a tree, the bear is probably taking the tree with it.
Right.
Like you're all going down. Like it's like I don't know if a tree can withstand like 500 pounds just leaning on the side of
right.
it. Like that might be rough. Yeah, that's fair. You can kick a snake out of a tree. You're also not going to escape from the spiders though in a tree. It's like the tree works better for snakes. I don't know what to do against spiders, like because it's not like especially if you're not armed with anything but what you have on. Maybe if you have a belt, you can like sort of whip them away from you and kill some in the process. Use your shoe.
No, like you smack 5 and 5 gonna hop on the belt and crawl up the belt.
Not the anime scene where like the character is smaller than the thing it's facing, so it like jumps on the arm and runs up.
Yep, that will go happen.
It's just let's say you're screwed no matter what.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Or one hippo.
Oh
that's
my
still
God.
There.
Or one hippo. Just the one.
One hippo, man. That's still bad.
That's still there.
Worse. That's worse than the. That's worse. That's
right.
And you gonna drag it into the water? No.
Now, before we move on, did y'all ever see that one movie? I think it was called Swim, or it was about a girl during a hurricane. A man and a woman get trapped in their house, but it's swarming with alligators.
I've seen that. I forget what it's called though, but yes, I saw that. It was like whatever the hurricane was and flooding and something, and they were like in Florida or somewhere where the water level, the sea level is low as hell. So like, yeah, that was. I hated that. I hated the movie, but the idea of it is like kind of real and a little terrifying.
Right, it is. But okay, so we're going to wrap up. We're going to give our quick thoughts about Marvel's What If season 3, the last season. So the synopsis of I'm gonna let Cedro. What did you think about it, Cedro?
Huh. Let's see. I've enjoyed every season of What If.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people. There was a hefty amount of people that didn't like season 1 for whatever reason, and then since then there have been a lot of people that just like they didn't like season 2 more, and then season 3 they were just like it's complete garbage. I don't see that. I think I appreciate the idea of What If is just being what it is, which is what if we changed a little something about a story you already know, and how would that change everything else? And so I appreciate that. I also think that people sort of forgot something that was stated since the season 1 of What If that nobody's really paid attention to or really talked about, which is thank you, Crawl. Which nobody really talks about, which is What If has always been the origin story of Uatu the Watcher in this MCU version of it. And not just what if these stories happened and whatever. Like the whole point of the story is supposed to be an origin of Uatu. That's what was said in the first season. They said Uatu is the main character. It's about him. This is his origin story.
Right.
And so for them to close it the way they did, I did really like that. I thought it was a really nice way to wrap the story up. I thought they gave us enough episodes in this season that I enjoyed. Did everything go exactly the way that I wanted it to? Not so much, but I think that that's the beauty of What If. It's not supposed to be, well, what if this happened? And then I get to come up in my mind, well, this would probably happen and this would happen. And then get to see that depicted on a thing. It's supposed to go in different directions. That's the whole point. And so I liked that about this season. I thought this last season did pretty well. I almost wish I got to know Birdie a little more. Maybe that's the only knock for me. It's like, yes, we got her origin story about how she was born and who her parents are and sort of how she got some of her powers. But like really understanding who she was as a character, clearly we didn't get enough time, I felt. But that's fine. I thought Birdie was a solid character. Like, she's fine. I love Cohorty. I'm glad they brought her back. Captain Carter is fine. She's cool. Of course, Thor Storm is like, there's no words.
Everything.
There's no what. Let's take a literal goddess and that can control lightning sometimes, and just give her the other
power.
thing that controls lightning sometimes, and make her, broken and unbeatable. So I did like that. I also like the way that they. I also like the way that they made it that they were all of them were very powerful people, but they tried to make them. They tried to show even their limitations when they were trying to access the fifth dimension. It was like nothing that they were doing individually was getting like. Birdie tried her science. Storm was like, I'm gonna try divine methods. That didn't work. It wasn't until they decided, oh well, like the nigga we faced in the first one, in the first season, he broke through. Like, maybe we should find him. And then like, I just like the way that they set that up. I thought it was really cool. Because a lot of times when you have so many characters that are so overpowered, it's difficult to sometimes make the stakes matter or make the action have like gravitas to it.
Right.
Because you just have a bunch of like behemoths that can't really be killed fighting. And so I thought that they did a really nice job of showing the power level, the difference level between like fifth dimensional beings and lower level beings. I love the thing at the end where Uatu's like, I do have one thing we can try, but this is not going to be like, you're not going to like it or whatever. And it's like, well, what? Take the Watcher oath. I thought that was kind of an awesome way to sort of turn the tide a bit. And then for them to be like, oh, you thought that was enough? We have a superpower that basically erases everything from ever existing ever. And like for Peggy to sort of fight through that and die in the process, I was like, good. I needed her to die. But
I like the effects of you see like their past, I guess their dimensional self is fleeing from them. Yeah. I thought that was a cool effect.
Hold
on.
Yeah, we got comics. Sammy says, what if we had mutants? We do have mutants in the MCU now.
Don't do that. We really do have mutants in the MCU.
We really do, yeah.
I was like, Namor.
Okay, Calvin.
Yeah, we all did. That's why I made that noise that I made when you walked
Right.
away when I was talking.
I
was like,
I will try not to put no attention to it,
Well-
so that's why I ain't say nothing.
damn, just cakes all out.
I was trying to focus on the show.
Okay.
Like when you pour cake batter into like a cupcake tin and it comes, you see the little the muffin top.
Right.
It poked out like that. It's like, oh, well, that's how we feel.
They're giving the girls a show. They're supposed to pay for that.
Okay. Anyhow, back to what if.
OnlyFans later, 15% off.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to see bears in your area?
Right. Devon's like, I'm one of the 25 bears.
Okay.
Sammy says, I'm upset that they are saying that Ultron is beating Killmonger. He couldn't find an EMP in one of those stones. No. And Kyle was just laughing at us. But yeah.
Well, like I said, for me, it was a hit or miss. It got better towards the end. Like episode one. Episode one was good. Bruce got on my nerves because like you started all this and you in the woods somewhere,
right?
Chilling. No ma'am. You. Episode 2 with Agatha.
Agatha, yes.
It was okay. It wasn't one of my favorites. It was okay for me. The ending was good. I like the end of episode 2. See here, episode 3, Red Guardian. Now that was funny. I really like that.
Guardian and Winter Soldier, yeah.
And the little park ranger, she was picking up the gold coins. She's like, I ain't getting paid.
All right.
Yeah, shout out to America Ferrera for
yes, that was awesome.
Just randomly showing up.
That was funny. The whole buddy thing with the Winter Soldier and it's not Captain America. What's his name?
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian was so funny. I love that one. Episode 4, Howard the Duck. That was crazy. I like that one.
The Ducks. I like how Fury was like, so Mr. and Mrs. the Duck. That egg that you have and your child is very, very special, and you have a lot of people that want to come after it and get it.
I just love how they made fun of Thanos. He came down like the stones. Where are the stones? You're like, you call me down here for an egg? Right. It's magical. Funny. Was this episode that was supposed to be Loki? Like they ran to him on his
they used
lodge.
Loki,
okay.
I wasn't sure, so
they used Jotunheim Loki. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like, welcome to the lodge, the Loki lodge, and stuff like that. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Okay.
The
episode 5 was amazing.
Yes, Riri and Mysterio, yes.
Cause that costume, everything. That costume was everything.
Okay.
But I also like in that. Oh God, I still got hiccups.
Like what if 1870 something, right? The Shang-Chi, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Yeah. That was good. I really like that one.
That was a good episode too. Yeah.
Like are we spoiling or we not?
Yeah, we are.
I mean, sure. I do have a question though, because we're getting kind of far into the episodes that are there. You said that for you the season was hit or miss, but you basically said every one except for one was really good, and you only said the one, like even the one that wasn't good, you said was okay. So where was the miss?
Let's see.
Or what did you feel
I should have rephrased it better. Episode, like I say, episode 1 and 2. If it wasn't in there, I wouldn't have missed it. Like I said, it's not something I would probably come back to. 3, funny. Let's see, 4, chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it 4 better than 3.
Okay. So 5, 6, 7, and 8.
5. Let me say this: 5 and beyond. Chef's kiss. I say that.
Okay.
Slow start, good ending.
Okay.
So everything after 5, 6, 7, 8 was amazing. I loved it.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
You're excused. Let's see. Whoop. Oh, since we were spoiling, the Shanti one with the twist at the end was so good.
I'm sorry, which one?
With Shang-Chi? Was it Shang-Chi?
Oh, Shang-Chi. Okay. Yeah, sorry. For some reason, it sounded like you said Sean something, and I was like,
No, Sean.
what? I was like, Sean T.
No, not the workout guru.
Not the workout guru.
The martial arts guru. That's the one.
Right.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good. That one was good. I thought what was really cool about this season was they really bought into elevating and accentuating the new characters in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't try so hard to try and like stuff a Tony Stark down our throats or whatever. It's like they gave us
Right.
Riri, they gave us Shang-Chi, they gave us Kate Bishop Hawkeye. We got, all of these newer characters that have gotten more light now. We got Agatha, we got Kingo, you know what I mean? Like they really decided to go all in on like accentuating the newer characters, which I really enjoyed. Because I think I would have disliked this season a little more if they tried to do let's bring Downey and Chris Evans back.
Right.
Kept
with the main characters.
We have other characters we can what if the fuck out of. And I think that they did a pretty good job doing that in this third season.
Mm-hmm.
I also like it being random. Bored with the first 3. Oh, bored. They're not long enough to be bored. I don't know. Like the episodes aren't long enough to feel bored. I don't know, but I understand.
My back in the 2000s crush, Mr. Sean T.
Well, like I said, I do agree with you, Cedar. Like I wouldn't think they're boring. I think some of them just need a little bit more context, maybe. Like
or an ability to have more to it. You know, like it's hard to tell a whole story and
30 minutes.
make people feel somewhat satisfied by the end of it.
Right.
Especially when the story is, what if we take the thing you remember and change one thing about it so everything else is different? You know what I mean? Like, well, you don't even have enough time to really tell a story. So almost all of them should end in a way that makes you go like, what happens next?
Right.
Right.
I think the only solace that this series has is that the episodes don't just stand alone. At the end of every season, they like come together in a way. I think if each episode was very separate, the whole series would be received a little bit differently. In a more negative way. I think the fact that they try to tie those things together at the end of each season to culminate in something, like, I think it works. Which isn't something that the original What If series, the comics that this is sort of based on, they didn't really do that in those comics. You know, you just get the one shot and that's pretty much done. Or you get the one shot and then those What If characters would never show up again anywhere else, right? But the fact that, like, this series, it's like we get the one shots, but then we tie it into some big conflict at the end and have some of those characters show back up, I thought was actually really cool. Also, Riri, or what do we call her? Re-Ultron?
Re-Ultron.
Right.
Capital R-I apostrophe capital U-L-T-R-O-N. Re-Ultron.
Calvin says the best thing that came from Marvel's What If it is the zombies. Can't wait for the series later this year. And what was y'all's favorite episode out of 3 seasons?
So are you saying, okay, so Calvin, are you saying that you feel like the best thing that came out of the series was Marvel Zombies, or you feel like the best thing that came from the series was the episode where they introduced the zombies? That's what I'd like to sort of get a little clarity on, because I didn't think that the zombie episode was really that good. I like Marvel, like the Marvel Zombies comics and stuff are good, but there were several things that were way better that came out of the What If series than Marvel Zombies. I would say what episode did I like the most? The Riri episode was really nice.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. But my favorite, I think maybe the original Guardians episode, like the Guardians of the Multiverse episode, where they had to fight Ultron, Killmonger, like they had to get Killmonger and all these people together. I thought that was really cool. Also, I will put up there the Cohorty episode from season 2. Like the whole idea of like, what if the Native Americans didn't allow colonization to take over the world?
Yeah,
right.
You know, like I really liked their boldness with doing something like that. I know it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Right. It did.
The Caucasity people,
because they hate any stories that show them not being like the heroes or being the villains. But probably those 2 episodes, like the original the Guardians of the Multiverse episode, I really enjoyed the Cohorty episode, and I will also say that I really enjoyed the final episode, the What If.
So that was a satisfying ending.
That culmination was pretty damn cool. Also, seeing the Watchers change their wardrobe, like Magical Girl transform into armored warriors, was actually pretty cool. But yeah, I'll say those.
And give Storm another power boost.
Yes. she's just like, at first I controlled nature. Now I am nature.
Let's see. Glad I had more. Can you get that comment?
Yeah, was it me, or did episode 4 have some sort of Rat Race vibe, or maybe a Cannonball Run feel? Which one was episode 4?
The one with Darcy and Howard and
yeah,
it did.
Right. Birdie, right?
Birdie. Well, and I like Birdie. I like the fact that she was voiced by
Natasha.
Natasha's old girl from Orange is the New Black, and she also got her own show on Amazon.
She has a few things. I will say this though, she is on the billing as a character in the new Fantastic Four movie. Everybody's been saying that she's supposed to be voicing Herbie, the like robot assistant. That's like, but now that we know that she's also Birdie, is it possible that she might be Birdie in this?
Ooh, that'll be good.
Like that's intriguing to me now. But more than likely, she's just going to voice their like robot assistant, and not anything else. But like now that we know that she's a different character, and they brought Captain Carter to live action, you know, for all of 5 minutes. Before she got cut in half.
we can handle you, little witch. Okay, all right. Sure you can.
Yeah.
And now you got turned to confetti.
And one got sliced in half. One became party streamers.
Turned into ramen noodles.
And then one just kind of tried to yell, and it backfired in the skull. I was like, oh, okay.
She caved the skull in. She went Olive Garden on one. She did BOGO half off sale on the other.
Right.
BOGO half off sale.
And
we still don't know.
she decided to collapse an entire statue on the last one, and so
Yeah.
we think she's dead. Maybe
Mhm.
not. We don't know. That shouldn't be enough to kill a Captain Marvel, but she supposedly absorbed a lot of her power to weaken her enough. So
Mm.
jury's still out.
Glad we had more than one black hero in the series this season. We had two we had we had three. We had several in the first season. We had Okoye, Killmonger, and T'Challa. If I'm
Yeah, we
not
had a.
mistaken.
I mean, we had a like we've had a few
Yeah,
in each season. Maybe
yeah.
season two. I don't remember enough of the details of season two to remember fully, but it like season three for sure dove into it. But the reason why, like, it's back to what we were talking about earlier. Like the reason why season three had more representation is because they used more characters from Phase 4 and after.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those characters had more diversity to them. So, like, of course, like the thing I liked was in the first episode, the people calling the shots was like Sam and Monica.
Right.
Yep.
Like the whole like we basically had Gundam Megazord Avengers, and like the leaders of the group were that. What I thought
Right.
was cool about that episode was that they started off. It always starts off with the narration of like sort of setup of the story, and he's like.
Right.
No, the original Avengers, like Tony Stark came up with the idea to make Gundams for everybody, but they lost and died. And now the people after them are like taking up the mantle. And so I like the fact that it was like the original Avengers died.
Right.
That's why we have this group now, as opposed
Now.
to let's just have a universe where maybe those other things never happened or whatever. Like I like that they
Right.
were like, no, we still got the original 6 white people. Like they just died though.
Right.
Here's the new. I was like, okay, I like this.
Kaiju number 9.
Also the Avenger Assemble command was
Right.
was perfect.
Avenger Assemble.
Literally.
I loved all the endings on each season. Oh, two. Okay. Sammy says, "Am I wrong for asking why does Captain Whitey have to save the multiverse, especially when we have Storm wielding Mjolnir?"
Well, the reason I'll say it very simply, because Captain America always will throw, or that type of captain character. Sorry, she's not a Captain America, but like that type of captain character with a shield, they always do those things. They always throw their bodies into stuff to like save everybody. 1, 2. What was the result? She no longer exists anymore. She gone.
Right.
So would you rather still have Peggy around talking
Right.
about how Storm saved us? Or would you rather have Storm still being a badass?
Right.
Talking about,
Watch
oh, it's
immunity.
so sad that Peggy's not with us anymore. But like
Right.
all of us are happy that Storm's still alive. Like
Yeah, we have Storm with Mjolnir and Watcher powers.
Okay. and commanding the solar winds as she was doing. Yes. All that.
Yes, it's like the better question is like we clearly need to have a culmination for Peggy's story because she came and won. You know, if this story or this saga is about anyone besides Uatu the Watcher, it would be about Peggy.
Oh, Kevin said, check the chat because he answered your question. I guess about the zombies.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
I think it's this one.
I mean, something that came from the series to inspire something else, like
the
zombie series. Mine was the Doctor Strange episode from season 1. What if he lost his hands instead of his heart?
Yeah, that was an excellent episode.
Yeah,
like that. That's absolutely up in the top 4 maybe episodes for me. I think the only reason why, like, I love the episode. The episode was excellent. The only reason why I would put it a little lower than some of the episodes that I mentioned is just because it's almost like his story never really finished.
Right.
It's like they sort of kept him, and then he was made to watch stuff, and then he turned into the villain for the second episode, and then he saved everything. I mean, second season, excuse me. And then he saved everything and made it and turned into his own universe, and then they used him in the end, which I thought was like a cute nod to it.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted the darkness in the finality of what he had done from the episode to have lasted. To me, the fact that they brought Doctor Strange out and kept using him so many times made that episode not have nearly as much like impact as it did when we were first watching the series, and that was the only episode we had to look forward to for a week before we got the rest of the season. Like in context, it was an excellent episode. I think in the context of the entire season, the entire series, it loses a little bit of steam because of how much they like drew out his story. I kind of wanted him to just be trapped at the end. Like, this is what you get for everything that you did. So that whole like continuous story where it's like he becomes a villain, like he was a villain, then he turned a little good, then he became a villain again, and then he turns good again. He saves the universe and then becomes a universe and then saves everybody in the end. It's like, I don't know. It's cool that they tied those things in, but it does diminish the value and the impact that original episode had to me. So for me, it's like 4th or 5th.
What? Okay.
To me, Peggy became the Watcher's predecessor, which then all through season, it was low key about Peggy's trails of becoming the multiverse. I don't know. I feel like she just became part of it, and she's watching over it, but I don't think she became the whole entire multiverse.
I think she genuinely got like erased.
Yeah.
Like I think she just got done. I think the only person who stayed after or got to be a bigger entity afterwards was Doctor Strange being the universe. But like Peggy did, she saved them all. So it did have a lot to do with Peggy. I think Peggy, Doctor Strange, and the Watcher were like the main focal points of the series in general, but it was absolutely about the Watcher. Like the whole story is like, let me narrate everything and then tell you I'm the Watcher. And then watch as I don't watch and interfere a lot. And then have to answer. Like, it was very much about the Watcher. The other characters, they were prominent, but they weren't protagonists so much so. And that's sort of the beauty of the way this story was presented, is that it was almost like that movie Sucker Punch, where you go through the whole movie focused on the one girl, and then at the end it's like, oh, it wasn't about me. I wasn't the main character in the story. Except it wasn't that subtle. Like the Watcher has been telling you the whole time, like, this is about me. I'm just supposed to watch, but I keep interfering because it's about me.
Right. Give it very penny proud.
Not penny proud.
Yeah, I understand that, Calvin. I was just saying that I enjoyed that episode as well, but for myself, it's the reason I was giving the reasons why I don't have it as high. So I get that you said it was your favorite. I understand. But I think overall it was a really good series. I would love to have had more. Now that's more than likely not going to happen anytime soon, if it happens at all. I will at least say that I hope that we get some of these original characters to show up in live action somewhere.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be mad at all if Cohorty showed up,
or Birdie.
Yeah.
Bird, I can deal without Birdie. She's fine. She's okay. Like, she's not a character that I'm like, oh my God, she's great. I want to see more of her. It's like, the story of how you were created was more interesting than what you're doing right now.
Wow.
Like I said, I would love to see it in a group setting.
It's like her showing up is cool, but it's not like I'm not sitting here saying I want to see Birdie in live action.
Right.
If she shows up, I'll be like, oh, it's Birdie. This is nice. But I'm not like, if you ask me to write a list of 10 characters I want to show up in live action Marvel, Birdie's not going to be on that list.
Okay.
Like, she didn't do enough for me, or there wasn't enough to me about her character that made me imprint on her in a way that makes me want a whole bunch more. I didn't think that she was an awful character, but it's just like, I'm not asking for a live action movie for Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, she's sort of like that for me. Like, she's like a
that's why I said
fifth character.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying she's good in a group setting.
Right.
Okay.
Like,
because of her skill set, like they needed an engineer, and so she was the only one in the group that could create things.
If the Guardian of the Galaxy just picked her up one day, she'll fit good in that group.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of say.
Yeah,
Okay.
like putting her in a Guardians group would actually be cool. Like I could absolutely see her showing up in like a Guardians 4.
Right. I can tell her and Rocky Raccoon would get along just fine.
Oh yeah, they would. He said, "Oh, I would love an episode of Birdie figuring herself out, or what world did that storm come from, and how it was destroyed." Yeah, because I think somebody said earlier. I think there was an episode that about with Kang. I think Storm had something to do with that. Like she came from that world with Kang.
Right.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, there was a moment in season 3 where Peggy shows up to Detective Nebula from
Yep.
season 2, and she shows up in Kang's thing.
Yep.
Like his ball
Time
throne,
ball thingy.
his like time throne or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she shows up in that.
Mm-hmm.
There are only 8 episodes in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Every season so far has had 9, even though technically the first season was supposed to have 10, and they moved that episode to season 2.
Yeah.
The Gamora and Tony Stark
Mhm.
episode. But every season is basically at 9. So to me, that makes me feel like they did have 9 or something, and they scrapped one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like if Storm were to have been in anything, she probably would have been in that, whatever that episode is. Like I think whatever it was, it had to do with Kang, probably had to do with Peggy, or maybe it didn't have to do with Peggy at all. Maybe it was like a Kang and Storm thing, and then because of the Kang stuff, they like erased it. Or I mean, not Kang stuff, because of the Jonathan Majors stuff.
Yeah.
They were like,
no, let's not do that.
And then, but they still had, the stuff that they won from whatever episode they fought him in or something. So that's what I would imagine. Because I know Birdie didn't create that.
No.
Like she's good enough to create something because she clearly like hooked that ship up and almost had them in the 5th dimension on her own. But
right,
the
money,
right.
That should have been my tagline. The money,
men. I got men.
All right, y'all. We gonna wrap up here now and get off of here. But join us again next Sunday at 5:00 on the same blurred time and the same blurred channel here. And peace out, everybody. Be good. Have a good week. Stay safe. Live long and prosper. All
peace out.